It's just me. I, I don't know what button I hit. That
I like it. You
okay?
should put it back that way.
I was like, okay, so I remember typing the word hello, and then all of a sudden I was like, wait, where did I type that? So I obviously must have hit the button on there. And you guys don't worry, Adam will be here shortly. He says he's trying to find a place where he can turn off and park, and so he can join us because he's on his way back home. He was in Delphi since last week there and attended the hearings over there. So I'm excited to hear what Aspen has to say, definitely, when it
Oh, me
comes to, yeah, Delphi. So, yeah. And then Charmaine's down below. Hey, Charmaine.
hi.
It's been a minute, hey?
It's been quite a while. Yeah, I don't remember the last. Well, no, I think I joined just on my cell phone once.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, because honestly, since, I don't know, a couple months ago, really, haven't overly covered Delphi.
Yeah,
I'm not overly myself. Well, because I'm, first of all, I'm working, right? So my
yeah.
shifts vary. And, but secondly, I don't honestly like covering the paperwork stuff. It bores the fuck out of me personally.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of waiting for it to get to the trial point. Honestly, Delphi has always been a very toxic, for the most part, community with some good content
Absolutely.
creators, but
Yeah.
very toxic. And I'm just not into the drama shit of the snays of the world and the
Yeah.
different shit. So I don't really give a shit what I say, to be honest, about those people, because honestly, the low lifes will be low lifes and they'll always remain that way. But at the end of the day, this is about Abby and Libby. I see Fig Salt. Hey, Fig is in the house. Hi, Gail. Gail gifted a membership to somebody there. Let's see who got that. Let me just take a look, Gail. I need my StreamYards to catch up. PJ, Second Chance, got that. Congratulations and thank you so much, Gail. Thank you guys for joining us. Like I said, we haven't really covered Delphi. Aspen Connor wasn't planning on going down to do it. It was like more like a last minute decision to go there. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let me listen to. Well, first of all, hey everybody, thank you for joining the live, and thank you, of course, mods. Well, I wasn't calling you a low life fig. No, certain content creators we know who they are, but anyways, I don't overly miss covering like the community of Delphi for the most part.
Yeah.
Um, just had to step away from that stuff. It just gets ridiculous, right? It's about Abby and Libby. It always has been,
Hmm.
um, and it's about justice for those poor two girls that deserve justice. So, anyways, Charmaine, what do you think about like them? Like, I don't know. What do you think will happen here with the suppression of, or trying to suppress um, some other dude did it and stuff? I don't know. Just your thoughts in general, really.
I feel like. Well, I mean, I honestly, I feel like at this point, it would be more expeditious to suppress it.
Oh, one sec. Why is it playing again? Oh, Gail did another one. 1 second. uh, Louise Cuvez, it looks like,
Hi.
was gifted the other one. Yeah, there she is. Thank you, Gail. I didn't realize there was another one on there. Thank you, Gail. Very generous. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
That's all good. Thank you, Gail.
Yeah.
I feel like from what I understand, like I haven't listened to a whole lot about the hearings. I've heard this and that, but from what I understand, Judge Gull listened intently. She took everything in, and that was the most important part for me. So she's heard it all, and now whatever decision she makes is going to be the right decision as far as the law is concerned. And I personally think it's going to be suppressed because if those guys were investigated and cleared, that should be the end of it. And now the judge is
Yeah.
going to have that same information, and I mean she's going to rule accordingly. I think, and in my opinion, she probably should suppress it. I mean, they're innocent people, just like Richard Allen. He's an innocent man until proven guilty in a court of law.
Guilty.
But you know what I'm saying. So now we're going to drag
Yes.
these other, like minimum 3 other men through the mud too. Not like they haven't already been, but now the judges heard everything that the defense wanted to say, and
Yeah.
we've gotten an earful the last 3 days of some stuff that I don't think a whole lot of people expected to hear. 61,
60, 60 confessions, eh?
61, yeah,
Yeah.
61 confessions, and not all of them were completely out to lunch. I personally have a really, really big problem with not criminally responsible, or whatever your state calls it. I don't think they have that in Indiana, but in Canada it's called NCR, not criminally responsible. It doesn't change what happened, and there still has to be some accountability there, especially once they're medicated and they understand what they've done. And my brain right now is stuck on Chad Dorman, who changed his plea to guilty today. He accepted a plea deal. Um,
Yeah.
he was,
That's a very sad case again.
yeah, quite clearly out of his mind that day. That doesn't change the facts,
That's right.
you know,
Right. Yeah.
and not criminally responsible. I have personal experience with somebody with a serious mental illness, and it doesn't change what they do and the effects of that.
I agree.
So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, there's plenty
I
of.
feel,
Go
right?
ahead.
Like,
Sorry.
who knows if he was that mentally ill? Some of the things that we heard are pretty, pretty bizarre. You can't be in your right mind to do some of the things that he was doing, but doesn't change what happened
I'm,
to Abby and Libby.
yeah, I'm honestly really sick of that card being played like it's a fucking lottery here.
Yeah,
Mental
yeah,
health, mental health. Drank
yeah.
something, lost my mind, mental health, mental health.
But
Oh, I'm
doesn't
going.
Indiana? You're not even allowed to plead not guilty by reason of insanity or whatever they call it. They don't even
Yeah,
have that. I don't
yeah.
think so.
Just in general, though, I'm honestly, just as a person, I'm so sick and tired of this fucking fluffy world we live in, of this whole mental health everything. I get it that people have some mental health issues going on, but come on, don't we all really? Some people are just out to the fucking moon there. But for the most part, doesn't everyone really kind of have some depression or anxieties or, stuff going on, or where they go through a spurt in their life? But does that excuse murder,
And
murder?
that that's where I struggle with it, because somebody who's Richard Allen's age, or my personal experience with the person I know at their age, they've been on medication and treated before and had counseling and decided to go off their medication. But at some point, you're an adult. You're still an adult, and when you're well and you're medicated, you know that you need that medication, but you make a conscious decision as an adult to stop taking it. There
Yeah.
still has to be some culpability there. If that's, I don't even know if that's the, I don't understand. If they can't plead not guilty by reason of insanity, why are they even bringing up his mental health records at the end of the day? If he,
Right.
he's going to be held responsible. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not like they're going to sentence him to, in Canada, they'll get sentenced to a mental hospital until they're well, right? We
Yeah.
had Vincent Lee, who was the guy who beheaded the kid on a Greyhound bus, and he was found not criminally responsible. He was put into the Alberta hospital, which is the maximum security mental institution in our province, and I think he served like 7 years. And he was let out and given a new identity. Like, he's out there somewhere, and all it's going to take is for him to decide as an adult to not take his medication. Yeah, he was monitored for a while, but not anymore. Not anymore.
Hmm. Oh, which reminds me, I do want to say, you guys. Okay, so like I said, I really haven't done any lives this week because I've just been really busy with work and seal sessions and stuff like that. But I do want to say, and if you guys haven't seen it, but some of you will, I want to say my biggest prayers to all those children, in the United Kingdom there, where that Rwanda blah, 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 kid, 17-year-old kid, took the lives of three children during a, Taylor Swift kind of little dance class going on, and for all the other injured, like the 10. If you haven't heard, did you hear about that one, Charmaine?
Yeah, I
Hi,
did.
Aspen.
Hey,
Anyways, I want to say my biggest prayers to that, and as well. you know, I won't talk about it on this live, but also for the bullshit of the man and the women fighting in the Olympics, and for that fucking fruit bowl shit that we seen at the start of the Olympics. But that's a whole different live I want to talk about. You know, fuck, all of it's just disgusting. It's just ridiculous. You know, but to even consider that a man, I don't give a fuck who you are, but to think that a man can all of a sudden deem himself as a female because he did all this shit, and then all of a sudden they put him that they're allowed to fight in the Olympics, as if a man and a female, right, we're totally built differently and shit like that. But that's a whole different other life. Anyways, those are the things that I've been kind of following. But anyways, Aspen's here. Aspen's in the
Yay!
house.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay. Sorry, like I got right into the mountains and I was like, damn it, of course now is when I need to find somewhere to pull
Oh,
over. And
maybe I'll
luckily I
turn
found
up 1 second. Maybe I'll turn up your volume here.
a
Um,
rest area, so I hope it's okay.
I'll just try to turn you up as loud as I can here. 1 second. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. So, how far are you away from home now, approximately?
Um, I'm about 4 hours.
About
Wow.
4 hours. Okay.
4 hours. That's still a long way to go, Aspen. How long of a
Yeah.
drive is it? 9, you said, I think?
Aspen, your mic's off. Hello. Aspen Connor. Earth Aspen Connor.
I'm here. Sorry. My CarPlay thing turned off for a minute, so I was trying to turn it back on without my mic on.
Mm, there we go. Who the fuck is Aspen? Fig Solves. No clue.
He knows who I am.
Troll. He's a troll. Yeah. So, okay. So, because we don't want to keep you forever here, because as you got driving to do and stuff. Um. So come on, give us the juice, all of it, as much as you can.
Well, I mean, I knew it was going to be a busy week, but I had planned on going live, and I didn't plan on being in court for 12 hours a day.
Yeah. So, start at step one.
Well, what would you like to know?
Well, go from the start. Like, so basically, you hadn't planned on going down, and then you did,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah. I was able to get an Airbnb last minute, and I was like, I'm just gonna try to go. I didn't
Yeah.
know if it was gonna work out until I had until the day before to cancel it. So
Yeah.
it kind of sucks to spend the money again. But I mean, this was definitely
Worth it.
the hearings I had planned on going to in May. So
Yeah. Right. Which didn't happen.
yeah, it was but it was very interesting and very surreal. One, just to see all of those people in in person after having watched them all for so long, meaning the lawyers and Judge Gull and even Toblas, and seeing those people in person.
Yeah.
It was kind of a weird thing. And then even meeting some of the YouTube people and media people, which was everyone I thought was actually really cool, and everyone was really great.
Oh, cool. I can see a lot of old Delphi names in here when we cover Delphi. So, hey, everyone. Um, Welcome to the live. Of course, Aspen is here and Charmaine is here. It's been a minute since we've done a Delphi one. And so, yeah. So, okay. So, yeah. So you met Susan Hendricks. You got to talk to Carrie. You got to meet who else? Who else?
Well, I mean, I saw the, I saw the Patties, and I saw Abby's grandparents. I did not see Anna,
Right.
and I didn't see Derek, but everyone else was there. I did not see Doug Carter. He was probably the only law enforcement person that was not there that I thought
Mhm.
might be.
That's a shame. That's a
Yeah,
crime
he didn't
shame.
come. It
Yeah.
is a criming shame.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Um,
probably holding his
I'd say,
vest up.
yeah. Hey, I will say Tobe looks good. He's lost a lot of weight,
Ugh,
and so does
I'm, go ahead.
so does Holman.
Okay, I can handle
Holman's awesome.
Holman, but not Lesenby. Lesenby, I don't care how much you wax that guy's forehead or whatever. That guy is.
Ah,
Anyway. Oh, Bob Mata
Um,
was there, right?
he was. I met him on. He was the only person I didn't get a chance to meet the first day. We just didn't cross paths.
Uh,
But I made a point to walk up and say hello to him on Wednesday. I guess that was.
mm,
Um, I will say, as far as like the the deputies that worked at the sheriff's or at the courthouse, I don't know if they were reserve deputies or, I mean, I doubt they need that many deputies at the courthouse most of the time. They were
yeah.
like the coolest like guys and ladies, and I'm sure it was annoying because I have to deal with all of these people that you don't normally have to deal with. But I thought the entire staff handled the entire event very efficiently and did a really great job. They were friendly. I was
Yeah.
impressed with the operations.
Okay. Charmaine,
Yes.
what do you want to ask Adam?
What
Nothing.
happened?
So, but yeah, kind of give
um,
us.
Nobody wants to talk about day 3, and I really want to hear about day 3. Not that day 1 and 2 wasn't important, but I feel like day 3 kind of blew everything up. Like that blew shit up. For even staunch Richard Allen supporters are like, hmm.
yeah.
Well,
Go ahead, Sonny.
no, I was just gonna say, let's go from day one, and then roll into day 2 and 3.
Yeah. Well, I mean, day one. I mean, I will say, there was, a lot of anticipation because, we've all kind of expected these hearings to be substantial for months and months now. So when were they scheduled? March, I think, originally. And so we've kind of been waiting for them and really haven't gotten a ton in between. So, and I don't mean this insensitively to like the families, number one, who probably dread these kinds of events, but I was excited to go. I was anticipating getting to hear information and I was I was excited to be there. And so day one, I'll be honest, it was incredibly boring. And it was no one's fault. I mean, it's what it was. They were doing the safekeeping order. It was a lot of really repetitive, redundant stuff that we've heard over and over and over again. Not that it's not important, um, just that nothing really was new. And I remember leaving court that night thinking, oh, if this is what all 3 days are going to be like, wow.
Yeah.
um, and I will say when were doing the safekeeping order, I've never had an opinion as far as I want Richard Allen to be wherever is best for himself, for his safety and for the case. And so when I heard the arguments in court on Tuesday, I mean, I really kind of left 50-50 in my head as far as like what I thought they would do. So I wasn't overly surprised that they did grant this the or vacate the safe keeping order, and then I guess they've issued a new temporary one.
Okay.
I did not expect them to do it at the end of the day on the third day when we were all like reeling from everything we just heard and getting ready to walk out the door. It was just kind of popped up on everyone. Some people had already left court. Like I think
Oh.
Bob Mott had already left.
Mhm.
But I mean, as far as the everything else on the first day, I mean, everything was pretty. It was
Well,
pretty standard.
okay. Let's backtrack just a bit on this
Okay.
one then. So how was it when you saw little shorty walk in there, 5'4", 5'6" at Aspen? What do you figure?
I think 5'5", right?
5'5". Okay.
Uh,
So how was that for you? Like that feeling of you're inside there with all these other say whatever YouTube creators or media and stuff like that, people around you, the family members and stuff, and then Richard Allen. How was that for you to see that little toad?
Um, I think after like having had a lot and so much anxiety leading up to it, one about like I spent the whole day before driving. I got there that that evening, and I was so nervous about not getting in because I didn't know what to expect. That I was like, I'm not going to drive all this way and then not get in. And so I was there at 5:30 in the morning, and and I didn't have anything to worry about. I was like, I think the fifth person in line. Um, but then I had only slept for like 2 hours, and then so by the time we went into the courthouse, it was like 8 a.m. And then that day, Goal was running late, so court didn't actually end up starting till 11. So by the time court started, we'd been at the courthouse like 5 or 6 hours. Um, and the courtroom is really warm. Like there's no air in there moving.
Oh,
Um,
that sucks.
and you can't bring water or anything in with you. So
Really?
no, nothing. So you have there's one water fountain. It's on the first floor. We were on the third floor.
There must have been a lineup for that.
Yeah, I didn't see a ton, but I guess people probably went and got water on their breaks and stuff.
Yeah.
But
that's
so when Richard Allen came in, he's a little guy. There's no other way to describe him. Like he is a little guy, and he looked a little thinner than the last time I think he was in court. Someone that was at that hearing on May 7th when he was there, said he looked like he'd lost a little bit of weight, but nothing huge. To me, he looks younger in person than I have seen him in the past. And something I thought was really interesting too is I have not watched most of the news coverage and everything of it, but the clips I've seen, his jumpsuit looks red, and it was pumpkin orange. So I'm not quite sure why, but I don't know if when you watched them bring him in and out of court, doesn't he look like he's wearing a red jumpsuit? Am I muted or Sunny?
Yeah,
So-
that's me. That's me.
Okay.
It's because I was enjoying the air conditioning as you were talking, and I forgot. And
So
I'm just,
no, he he did not look threatening at all. I mean, if I didn't know what he's been accused of, I probably wouldn't look at the guy twice.
yeah, right.
His eyes are his eyes are definitely. I can like when I've heard people use the term bulging before. I get it now. Like because when he
Right.
makes eye contact with you, his eyes are very very white around the outsides, and they were very light this time. And I've heard that they've been different colors at times. And I think Dr. Walla even talked about that in her testimony. But his eyes were really light and giant.
I got to say
So-
something to that quickly.
Okay.
I remember watching a show a couple years ago, and they were talking about the eyes of someone that has SK personalities or like those psychotic ones. And the one thing I always remember was that when you look at somebody, and if you can see that white underneath the eye of that person, I remember
Yeah.
them saying that was associated with typically like an SK serial killers or, like very, whatever, let's say bad people, like psychotic killers and stuff like that. And I just always remember
Wait,
that.
Did you say fat people?
No, I didn't say fat people.
I was like, sorry, I thought you said fat people.
bad
I was like-
people, bad people.
I was like, why do we not like fat people now?
No. Oh no, I never said that. But anyways, I just always remember that. So whenever like an SK or somebody that did a crime comes on the TV, I'm like, let me look at your eyes. Do you have any of that white shit showing underneath?
Right.
But it's anyway. Go on. Okay, the eyes.
And they kind of pop out a little bit, and when he makes eye contact, it sent a shiver. Like it was unnerving and he made he kind of locked eyes with me a few times on the first day.
Oh wow.
And I've heard that he does that with people in the courtroom sometimes, but it's weird to be the one that he does it to.
Yeah.
So what? Oh, what was your thoughts on her?
On Gull?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really know what to expect because, depending on the opinion of her, I feel like a lot of people have said, that she can seem moody, that she can be, rude, or then I've heard other people say she's perfectly, that she's perfectly normal. I didn't see any behavior out of her this week that was anything short of professional and efficient.
That's what I heard too. I just remember.
I've not watched a lot. I've not watched any YouTubes or anything, so I don't really even know what a lot of people are saying. That even if they were there, but I didn't hear anyone complain about Gull. She was almost forgettable in a way, which is, I guess, what you kind of want to judge to be, right?
For sure, that means she was paying attention, and
She and Rosie at one point actually even exchanged a little joke between the two of them. I was like, well, there's some progress.
We have progress. We're adults. Yay.
The only time I saw anything, from her that of course I love anything snarky or cheeky, but the second day we came back from lunch and Brad Rosie was there, and probably 15 minutes after Rosie started the case back up, she stopped him and was like, where's Mr. Baldwin? And Rosie just goes, oh, he had a professional obligation, and since I was handling this, he's not here. And she kind of had this look on her face that was like, oh, I'm sorry if we were keeping him,
Right. Yeah.
So, to me, I got the impression that meant that they hadn't let her know ahead of time that that one of his lead attorneys wasn't going to be there for a fourth of the hearings. And I'm not quite sure what he had to do, but you would have thought he could reschedule something for something like Delphi.
I know. I was going to say you would think, but I guess.
But yeah, I get it. And Rosie was the one doing he was lead chair that day, so it worked out fine.
Yeah.
And to me, I think that that's a good thing because of all the drama that kind of goes with Baldwin. You know what I mean? And not that Rosie is squeaky clean or anything, but I think he comes off a little bit more professional and more, I don't know.
Yeah.
Especially when he's dancing Charmaine in that video.
He is smaller than I thought. He's a short guy. He's
Don't
small.
say that. Rosie?
Yeah, he's small.
Out of there.
He's got
trash.
Yeah. OJ is bigger than him. And
wow.
It's funny. Baldwin was very charismatic, and I found him a little charming. He definitely has a particular style to his questioning and his lawyering, I'll say. But
so is he as long-winded in person as he is in his filings?
He is nothing compared to Rosie in his long-windedness.
Oh, wow.
Rosie could talk more than Sunny.
Really? That's
I know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, he's not. He knows I can talk. That was true.
Rosie just asked a lot of. Rosie was a little redundant at times, I think, but I know he was trying to make a point. So I get what he was doing, but there were times I was like, "Come on, Rosie, move on." But no, I thought that Baldwin was really actually kind of charming in person, and I did not anticipate having that feeling towards him. So he comes across, I think, differently in person.
Rosie?
But so does Nick.
I heard that Nick hit it out of the park. I heard that Nick did a really, really great job.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are people that don't like Nick McClelland, and he could part the Red Sea, and people would still say, he's an awful human being, and make fun of his mustache or something, which I did not expect to see. But he's got a vibe going on right now. but no, he Nick is very charismatic, and he came off very professional, very calm, very cool, very confident, and he didn't miss a beat.
And prepared is from
Not within like the entire 3 days. He did not miss a beat.
and what I don't know if Sonny wants to wait for this one, but what was the jaw-dropping moment for you? Like, what did
No, go
you
ahead.
leave Delphi going, I cannot believe that I heard that? Was there one thing that stands out above the rest, or was it all just, you know?
I don't know.
60 confessions?
61 direct. You have to be specific. The direct confessions.
Yeah.
Someone did mention that to me because they were like, "Well, don't you mean admissions of guilt?" And that's what I yes, technically, but both sides used the word confessions in court. So
That's right.
I feel like it's okay that we use the word confessions.
Yeah.
We all understand what what it means.
And it's to me, it's a totally different thing now that we kind of have a good idea of what was said.
I still want to see it with my own eyes.
Yeah, but before, like months and months ago, we heard that he had made, what did they say, 5 or 6 admissions, and then everybody jumped from that statement to a bunch of confessions, and we were like, okay, whoa, admissions are not, but now we've got
a picture is not a sketch.
That's right. We've got more of an idea of what was actually said, so I think it's safe to say they were confessions.
Right.
Well, apparently he found Jesus or something.
I will say I know that a lot of people do find religion when they're incarcerated. Well, he's not incarcerated, you know what I mean?
A lot of people
detained. But I didn't for some reason I did not see that coming when they said he found God. I was like, this just took a turn.
Yeah.
Especially for it being kind of a catalyst for him to start making the admissions or confessions.
Usually you find God, though, when you're guilty of shit. Like, for those people that are in there,
Yeah.
To me,
well,
that's how I see it personally, but
I understand what you're saying. I can see it both ways. I can see where if someone thinks they're getting railroaded and they're innocent but they've lost hope and they think there's no chance that they're going to beat this, and then I can see where they could resolve themselves to this scenario. But yeah, logically, I would think if you have a guilty conscience, and you don't feel like you're going to go to heaven until you clear it, it's probably good to pick up a Bible.
61 admissions or confessions or whatever you want to call them.
61 plus 61 direct, and then I think he said the number, like if you were to like take all the like ones where he just kind of makes references to it, because he defined direct confessions as like stating that he killed the girls, or saying how he did it, or saying motive, like something, giving a detail that like was a direct admission of guilt. But I guess several times he would make comments in like reference to it, or like make comments about it that could be taken different ways, whereas the 61 are, in his opinion, irrefutable.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, I wasn't totally sold until I heard the thing I've been waiting in this. So actually, the thing I've already been waiting to hear since we heard about the confessions to begin with was, to me, it holds a lot more weight if they contain information that the public doesn't know, but the killer would. And he used those words almost word for word.
Okay.
That that some of the confessions include details that only the killer would know.
Right. Producing Aspen, do you think RA's actual written confession to the warden was the one that contained his motive?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was interesting to hear some of the just some of the way that, like, because of course, just like any other business, like things could probably be run much more efficiently. But it's like doesn't sound like the warden really has the end all be all of the power when it comes to making decisions, because whoever the what do they call it? Oh, something office, not command office or something. There was a word they used that almost made it sound like like the CIA or something.
Oh,
He's like,
okay.
well, that's handled by Operation Control or something.
Right, right.
So like the fact that there is that rather than respond to it, he kind of had to just turn it over to the Internal Affairs Department, which is, I guess, what led to them starting to surveil his tape, his calls and texts.
Yeah. Must have been, I don't know. I mean, cool but weird. It's like you follow a case for all those years, right? Because how long has it
Yes.
been since 2020 for Delphi? And then, like I said, then you get to see all those people, see Richard Allen, see the judge and everything like that. I mean, it had to be a very cool experience for sure, but by the same token, right? It's at the expense, of course, Abby and Libby, you know.
Right,
Um,
that's not lost. I don't. It's impossible to lose that in the situation, because the people that really went through this and really lived through it are sitting there, and they're so like, this was not about us. Like, I know how I felt emotionally when they were reading some of the details of things, and I mean, I felt like someone had kicked me in the chest, like, and taken the wind out of me. So I can't imagine even remotely thinking what those people that were sitting 5 feet away from me felt like.
Yeah. One of the things that you said, and so did Susan Hendricks say, was that they were like, basically a lot of people could see like the crime scene photos.
I could.
Yeah, Susan Hendricks made a comment to that as well, on there. So, how, as that was happening, what was kind of like going on? Like, I don't know, when they were doing that part.
Well, it wasn't intentional. I mean, I understand that it was not
Right.
intentional. And I understand that when you have a 2x4 poster board, um, which, I mean, I don't, which maybe they already prepared those for trial, but they definitely did not need them when the only person they were showing them to was the judge. So when they brought in the big flipboard and like those giant posters, I was like, they could have just printed them out on paper and handed the judge the pictures.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, I mean, there were definitely pictures that we have not seen. I mean, the picture, they were, the people that have seen the crime scene photos, they were in the ones were in there, but there were other ones in there.
Yeah. Because we only ever seen
I do know that the families of both. Well, I know that the victims' families were informed that morning that there were going to be crime scene photos shown, and that they would that they would try to protect them from not being shown, but they were told so that they could choose whether they wanted to be in the courtroom or not.
Right. Okay.
I don't know if any of them saw them or not.
Thank you, Miss Calcutta.
I do know also that they were informed before the blood splatter expert testified as to the fact that there would be graphic, uncomfortable things that they'd probably be hearing if they stayed in the courtroom. And that was that was at the end of our really long day. So I mean, I know some people have to leave for various reasons, but I know that that last break of the third day, everyone was exhausted already, and I saw Andrew Baldwin come up and say something too, because I was sitting like on the first, I was in the front row, where on like
really?
on one side was on like the other side of the aisle was Mike, Patty, then Becky, and then the family members, and then on my side it was Turbo, well, Sarah, her friend Sarah, Turbo, then me, and then there were two interns who worked for Andrew Baldwin and Rosie, and then Janice and Kathy Allen. So they were right, next to me, or 2 seats down from me. And I saw Baldwin come up and say something to them right at the last break, and they never came back. And I understand now that either they had somewhere to be or go, or they didn't want to hear those details. And Libby's grandparents were gone by that. They weren't there anymore at that point. But Libby's family all sat there and listened to every word of that. So I know. I jumped around. That was day 3. But
Well, okay, 1 second. Thank you, Miss Dog Lover. Yeah. She's going through some bad MS relapse for sure right now. Thank you, Miss
Aw.
Dog Lover. Hi. Yeah. I'm amazed she's still up because it's 8 hours difference in the UK, Miss Dog Lover. On there, but Charmaine, you said you wanted to ask about day 3 there.
well, I'll say quickly. Is there anything about day 2 that you have questions on or anything?
I
Did you
can't
miss
remember
day 2?
what day 2 was. Was that no? Day 3 was the motion eliminate, right? That was afternoon.
Yes.
Day 2.
Yeah, day 3 was a summary of the day before, and then the entire the rest of the day was the motion to eliminate.
And what about the? I feel absolutely terrible that I want to know about this, and we can take it off camera, whatever, because I feel terrible. I can't even imagine being a family member in there. But what about the blood spatter expert and what he had to say?
Oh, was that there?
Like,
Have you not heard? Yeah,
who did the box cutter come from? Was that
Holman is the first one that said that, and that was day 2.
okay?
I'd have to look back at my notes to see why he brought it up. But no one, I don't think anyone was. I mean, it was one of those where it was one of those kind of lulls where you're like, you kind of zone out a little bit, and then all of a sudden he says box cutter, and the whole everyone kind of sat up in their seats, and then to hear box cutter, and then to hear he threw it away in the dumpster at CVS, and
this is like a bombshell to me because it answers so many questions. Like in my mind, like if he went out there and planned it, obviously because he had this big knife or whatever, then how was he crazy when he did it? But if he just had,
wait, there was
why would he have a box cutter?
Yeah. But honestly, the person that I know who had schizoaffective, and when he was delusional and psychotic, he literally had a different type of knife in every single pocket. And he would wear layers of clothing to get more pockets to fill up with stuff.
Right. Here's some. I think that there is. I mean, clearly, like the word box cutter was used on 2 different days by 2 different people.
But isn't a box cutter, in my knowledge, which I'm pretty sure I'm right, it's just a razor, so it's not a serrated.
Right. It's not. Right, and so both terms were used, but neither, they never, like when Jerry Holman said it, he said he used a box cutter. He didn't say to kill the girls with. But then the second day, Nick McClellan brought it up, and he said, "What if I told you they were killed with a box cutter?" So he again didn't say they were killed with it. He said, "What if I told you they were?" But then they talked about the serrated edge blade or whatever that term is, and they said it's either in the autopsy report or the BAU report. And they did, but they never clarified it because they said, well, they're both in, they're both already in evidence. So they just said it's either in the autopsy report or the BAU one. So I'm not sure which one it is, but they weren't, they never really clarified what they meant by serrated bladed edge or edged blade or box cutter, because I think some people have said there's box cutters don't have serrated edges.
Right. Well, I mean, I think some of them can, but it depends on the brand, the type, the use. like what that tool is being used for. There's carpet cutting box cutters, there's box cutting box covers, which are just a razor blade. There's different types.
Yeah.
But I
don't know.
have another just question because of something that was brought up, is that Abby, the blood, people were saying there was no blood on Abby, so she, the stupid things that people were saying about how hanging upside down, whatever, because there was no blood. But now we know that there was a fair bit of blood on the back.
There was a lot. Well, I mean.
So that junk can be put to rest about Abby didn't have any blood.
Anyone
For the tarot card people that thought these Odins did a sacrifice and stuff, that was huge. What about no blood with Abby?
Yeah. I mean, there still was a stark contrast between the types of injuries and and severity of the blood. Because Abby really, I mean, it was very concentrated to specific areas, whereas Libby's was everywhere.
Susan Hendricks made a comment there. And Susan Hendricks said that, what did she say? One of the confessions or something said, "I'm sorry that I killed Abby."
Yeah, one of them was, "I'm sorry that he said he was sorry for killing Abby, but that he didn't mention Libby in it."
Right. Yeah.
And that people came out of those hearings, and I don't know the details around it, but it was almost like it was confirmed for them that Abby and Libby had an interaction with Richard Allen before the Bridge Guy video, correct? I heard something.
that was not said in court. So I mean, if anyone came away with that, it would have had to have been something they inferred from something someone said. And if maybe I mean, I know I listened really intently to everything.
I think it had something to do with Abby saying, "He's right behind me, isn't he?" As though they were not expecting him to be there, but he wouldn't be there.
I mean, I've always assumed that they'd encountered him, because where was he when they walked onto the bridge? If he was standing on platform 1 when Betsy Blair saw him, and then she passed the girls on her way back to, because there's it's not a long distance between the Mears entrance and the beginning of the bridge. So where did Richard Allen sneak off to that time? So to me, it makes perfect logical sense that whoever our bridge guy encountered the girls before he approached them on the bridge.
Yeah, and I mean there was a bunch of, like, a group of people who thought he was on the other side of the bridge and passed them on the bridge and then turned around, and that's how.
And I've never thought that.
No, me either. But it's just laying more of this rumor crap that's been going on since Richard Allen has been arrested, even before that video. Do you know what I mean? But now a lot of that stuff can be put to bed. Hopefully.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that can be put to bed, probably. There are a lot of things that should have already been put to bed, but
absolutely.
There's no way anyone can deny that those girls were killed at that scene. Yeah. Like, there's no, they died somewhere else and then were brought back there. Did the
defense try to say that
scene. What?
Did the defense try to say that Abby was killed elsewhere and brought back?
The defense has not alleged that the girls. They have not come out and alleged that the girls were killed somewhere else. They have alleged that the girls might have been taken somewhere else and brought back at a later time.
Oh, okay.
They don't specify in what condition.
Okay.
But they have definitely. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Fig just is asking, did the defense do enough to prove?
I was just saying really quickly, they absolutely, I think, are going to, in trial, if they can, try to throw as much doubt at the time of death, and I think that's why they're trying to get the phone data thrown out, is because I think that they want the timestamp off of Libby's phone. They don't want that in court, because if they can prove those girls were alive on that bridge at 2:13 when bridge guy approached them, it makes their case much harder to, to prove or to defend.
Okay,
So I think, them having all that evidence thrown out, because if there's no time of death on the autopsy report, which allegedly there's not,
right. But is that sorry.
that would be the argument that they clearly are going to try to make. That's what they're setting all this up for.
Right. It isn't
They'd
part
like to
of
say it didn't happen there either. What?
Isn't part of their time of death the fact that her step counter stopped at 2:32 or something, 2:32 p.m. So she didn't take any more steps after that. And then also based on what Fig was getting at, 16 text messages just appeared at 4:43, like came through at 4:43 and nothing before that.
Right.
You know.
I mean,
I don't know.
I didn't have complete clarity on the on why the phone like kind of stopped pinging or whatever in between that time period. But they did say that, I guess when they did the report in 2019, and one, there's different was it Cellubrite, and then, well, they kept saying geofence, and then they were saying Google, and how, Google's within 3 to 5 meters, but that in prosecution's words, geofencing is so unreliable they would never even use it for probable cause. So I don't fully understand the phone ping thing. Although they got the officer that was testifying to it did say that, sometimes iMessages and SMS can come across as duplicates, and that they are redoing the report that they did in 2019 of the extraction of the phone because of the technology and the advancements and the collecting of the data for it. So, and that it's been done. They did it in May, I think, but the report has not been finalized or whatever. So I think they kind of tabled that for now. Does that make sense?
Yes. No, none of this makes sense, but yes, it does.
Right.
And
I think a lot of it boils down to how you can get different people are going to interpret data different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, if you're being paid to interpret data for the prosecution, or you clearly want to interpret that data to implicate the person you're trying to implicate. If you're trying to defend the person, you're going to find someone that's going to look at that data, which should be impartial, but it never really is when the money's being exchanged.
And I would like to say, like, even my phone, sometimes, and it won't happen to my buddy's phone right next to me, but I won't get a text message for a couple hours, and all of a sudden, all of them come through, and I'm in the same. You know what I mean? Like, you can't.
Absolutely, it happens to me too.
Yeah, you can't base.
But I can't explain exactly why.
No, me either. Because, like I said, in the same house, somebody else's phone is working just fine.
Well, that one usually happens a lot with my husband. He'll be like, "Oh, damn, all your messages came in at once," and it's because he could be working in a building, but in one part of the building it seems fine, and then in another part it drops, and then it comes back on, and then all of a sudden we get bing, bing, bing. Because I'd be like, "Husband, why aren't you answering?" And then he's just like, "Oh, just got the messages now." But like I said, you could be in the same area, but one part drops. It seems like, and then
and I had not actually thought about. I'm sorry, Sonny, go ahead.
No, that was it.
I had not actually thought about that, even just the iPhone feature, like as far as the Apple Health data, being something that like you count your steps. So they, a lot of people I think neglected to like think about the fact that You know, because there a lot. I think some people think that because they know like what time, where, you know, like that she stopped moving at 2:33, they don't know where, because the GPS, there's no GPS on Apple Health, so they might know she took, you know, that she traveled an eighth of a mile, but they only know it's an eighth of a mile and from wherever her location pinged last time.
Right. So with the amount of information that you heard over the span of 3 days, and this is probably a really stupid question, but do you think that they would have enough time in the 2 weeks to present, like to do this trial? With the amount of information that you heard, unless they were given, you know, the go ahead to bring in the third party, some other dude did it thing, which I personally,
If they
I
were or were not.
don't know.
If they were or were not.
We're not. Like, I'm hoping that they won't. So I'm going to say we're not allowed to bring in the third party culprit. Do you think they're going to be able to get? Well, they have over a month now. But,
Right.
you know, it seems to me that you heard a lot of information over the last 3 days.
Yeah. Granted, if you have to read, you know, 61 confessions as of now, and you know, and then have people testify to hearing those confessions, that could be a lot of witnesses. And
Yeah.
Lord knows how many more. Lord knows how many more we'll hear from Cass County now.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I don't. So I don't know. I will say, I think that. Well, I think that Rosie specifically could have cut his time in half.
Because he talks double what I do, right?
Yeah. I mean, he would say just go over and over and over the same things. And, you know, the third morning, he the second day he did a lot of talking. And then the third day he spent like an hour doing his like recap of the day before. I think it was 55 minutes. I think is what I tracked. Was the amount of time it took for him to do his summary.
Yeah. Hey, was there any talk about Richard Allen's phone at all?
Nope. No, because
Yeah.
well, that's not in. I mean, no one has filed for that to be suppressed or anything.
Suppressed,
So that so this was only, you know, very specific elements, and there were topics they even talked about that they had to, you know, kind of keep the subject of or the focus on of being what they're there for. Like, you know, when they were talking about you know, like this couldn't have anything to do with, like, you know, like anything other than the motions eliminated with the confession things. It just had to be during when time he was in that environment. It wasn't like, you know, that's why this October 26th interview was like a whole separate thing, which I'm still confused as to why they withdrew. Like, that surprised me right off the bat when they were like, oh, we're withdrawing our first, you know, motion to suppress statements, because they didn't give any explanation.
Yeah, I think I said that to you. Like, what are they up to? So that's strange. That was weird.
I mean, and I'm not, you know, like, I just thought Rosie could have cut his time down, and and I liked Miss Diener for the prosecution. She's very commanding. She's very articulate. I did not like her pacing, but that was just probably my personal opinion. Is because she would take really long pauses in between, and I think if you cut out these really long pauses, she could have been done much quicker. And I know she was reading like whatever she was going, you know, asking about. So I get that she was, you know, being diligent, but I was like, come on. But no, she's has a very commanding presence, and she was cool. And her and Rosie, actually, they had a very cordial, like, back and forth. They would congratulate each other on things, like, you know, and like pat each other on the back different times. It almost made me wonder if they knew each other previously.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So with,
Nick and Baldwin actually even exchanged a chuckle at one point. I believe it was the third day. They both tried to walk around the table on the same side, and there wouldn't be room, and so they both kind of turned around and then went the other way around the table, and they kind of laughed and patted each other on the back. So they're best friends now.
I
oh,
hear
good.
big semi trucks going by you.
Sorry.
No, I just said I was wondering what the noise was the first time I heard it, and then all of a sudden I was like, "Oh, those are semi trucks going by. They make that noise." Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how the truckers that do live streams can do. I mean, I'm sitting here parked, and I'm distracted enough.
Yeah, let alone those people that are driving and then doing the lives. Hey, just quickly, just for a second, did you see little Jinx there?
Oh, I will say, um, Jinx is pretty much like the coolest person anyone's ever met. So if anyone ever wants to laugh, go find Jinx because you will laugh.
I can see that.
I mean, we
Her
got a
little,
picture together.
yeah.
We did get a picture together. I didn't take pictures of like anyone. I was like I'm driving today thinking like I didn't take a picture of like myself and anyone really.
Really.
So
Yeah, you guys kind of suck at pictures. Just saying, both of you two actually. It's like one goes to Idaho, and I get a couple pictures of food and a little bit, and the other one goes to Delphi. Well, no, you did have a little bit more for sure, but yeah,
well,
you guys.
in this trip, I was literally I was in the courtroom. I mean, I knew that they would be
I
busy
like
days, but
pictures.
I didn't expect I didn't expect to be in the courtroom for like 11 hours one day, 12 hours the next day.
I need to
You
feel
know,
like I'm there because I
yeah.
can't. Right? Yeah.
And that
So
third
this
day,
time,
I mean, like I said, it was I'm sorry.
Would
Well, I was gonna say
say,
that third day
oh,
was so like, we were so tired. We'd been there all day. It was so hot in there. Um, and when they got to the blood splatter expert, um, I think everyone was already exhausted. And then, I mean, I don't think anyone was really prepared to hear all of that. Because it was intense. And I know she probably didn't mean to or realize she was doing it, but like the lawyer on the defensive side, OJ, she she was holding her picture, her like copies of her pictures um up. They were on a piece of paper, and I was sitting in the front row directly behind her, or I was directly behind Richard Allen, and so I could
yeah,
see
come
like
off in the head.
everything.
Yeah.
So and those were just the of the F tree and the blood, which they refer to as an upside down L. Um,
Okay.
but no,
Upside.
I don't think anyone really had anticipated hearing about
The blood
that.
spatter.
All of the blood everywhere,
Mm.
and the progression of the crime that could be told through what blood was where and in what condition.
You
I mean,
know,
because they were even able to in the blood splatter expert's opinion, say that they believe that you know that Libby at one that she was probably died sitting up, or that they knew Abby's head had been turned and that Libby had been drugged through different pools of blood.
yeah.
It was hard, and to hear the people in the courtroom, that was hard.
Well, especially, I mean, obviously, especially to the family men. Like it's hard enough to have a child die naturally, but then to know, like, this is the part that I can't stand thinking about, is the part of that as they're sitting there. This is their children, their grandchildren, their friend, whatever, and they have to listen to the blood part. I know it's part of it all, and it really sucks, but the visual in your head of these children, you know, in the state that they were left in and stuff like that. It's just got to be beyond repair to listen to
Yeah.
that.
And I mean, just the little details. I mean, the things like, I mean, it put to me. I mean, I guess anyone can disagree with a blood splatter expert. But to me, it puts to bed things like, you know, was Abby redressed? Did she ever was she ever undressed, or was she undressed and then were the clothes put on after she died or before? And the blood splatter expert clearly said you can tell that she was clothed when she died, but that she had at one point and she at one point had been at least partially nude.
Abby or Libby? Sorry,
Abby. I mean,
Abby.
we know Libby was, because we
Right.
know she was found
Yeah.
nude.
Yeah.
But he said conclusively that you can tell you can tell that at one point she was at least partially unclothed.
And that was
But
because
that
of the pants, right?
I think it was because of I think he was talking about the bras.
Oh,
The fact that that made clarifies that wasn't that second bra was not hers. But also just that they can tell that she died wearing dressed because of the blood still like flowing walls onto the clothing, and where where on the clothing, because it was mainly on her hoodie, and it wasn't on the sleeves. So he said she never like reached up or anything. Whereas with Libby, you could tell that it was all over her arms and hands. She'd been trying to touch the wounds, you know. And you don't need to do that detail. So, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, it is, at the end of the day, I mean, it is what it is. It's just, yeah, I mean, it is hard to hear for sure, because it's like no matter how many times or years we followed the case and talked about this stuff, it always hits home about what those girls went through in their final. I'll probably never forget in the Down the Hill podcast when the couple people that were talking in the podcast, the police officers, you know, as they were talking about what they heard on the videotape of Libby's phone, and that always sticks with me, how much they almost had to catch their breath to even talk about it, because it was so gut wrenching to know that they knew that something bad was going to happen to them, and so I don't know.
Yeah, no, I felt like I said, and for hours after I was exhausted first of all, but I just, um, I felt like someone just like had knocked the wind out of me. And like for a while, I was sitting there like, I was really angry for a while, because like it was going through my head about all the times I've read someone say something like, well, the crime scene. I mean, there's no blood at the crime scene, or that crime scene. Like just recently, I saw someone made some horrible comment about that the crime scene didn't even look that bad. Like, didn't look that bad.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, it just goes to show the judgment people make off of, like, the F tree is a perfect example. People looked at that F tree that was a zoomed in part of a tree just to highlight a point that someone was trying to make, and did not show that an inch over there was a huge another splatter of blood, and that at the base of that 2 feet below it there was another huge splatter of blood,
Mhm.
and that there was splatter all over it, and that there was a huge pool of blood at the base of that tree, and that Libby had probably been sitting up against it, and that there were big pools of blood on different parts of
Yeah.
the crime scene that she had been drugged through. So I mean, for someone to say not that bad is disgusting.
Yeah. So did you just get to hear that, or did you actually see? Did they show it?
They did not show it, but I, like I said, was sitting.
Oh, Aspen popped out. Jinx.
And that
Yeah.
is the worst.
A.
Like
There
too
he
far
is.
behind.
The
Oh,
worst.
sorry. What did you hear me say last?
About her something about her sitting at. You could tell she was sitting at the tree or something like that.
Yeah,
You're
she was
talking
sitting
about,
at the tree.
yeah.
So I mean, I saw the pictures, but I was in the front row, so I don't think that they were small, so I don't think a lot of people probably could have if you weren't right where I
Right.
was.
Right. Exactly.
Although I don't know. I mean, because they were just on like a regular piece of paper that she was holding up, looking at, and there were like 9 of them, I think, that they had of different parts of the crime scene, to show the blood at different places.
Well, I know that we heard, or like from before, about. I don't know if it was in the whole. What was that freaking tunnel? Oh,
Hold on 1 second.
okay. Can't even think of the name of that. What was that whole write up thing? The oh my god, I can't think of the word. Anyways, I know we had heard about the blood pooling like at the bottom of the tree and stuff like that. Are you back at him?
Yes, I'm back. Sorry.
Oh, okay, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Um. So yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, that was rough to hear. But my heart was broken to think of, you know, the families that hearing all that, and I know I know they already knew it, but
I know. Um, I was gonna say, did anybody break down? Like, did any of the family members break down hearing certain things, or were they? I know it's been years now, and I'm sure they've cried a
oh,
thousand million tears.
right. I think I think there were many people crying in that courtroom during that.
During that part.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and like I said, it went on for over an hour.
Yeah.
And of course and that's
What's your
they're
main
the
girl?
one. Their emotions are the only ones that matter. I don't know where she went. So I tried to stay composed. But of course the families were devastated, to hear that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
If total strangers are, then one of the sheriff's deputies that was sitting in the front, I actually even saw it, was wiping his eyes several times. So
I know. I mean, I mean, honestly, it's one of those things that as the years go on, like for them, I know that Becky's a soldier and stuff like that. And by the way, I know you said you met Carrie. How was she handling it all?
heartbroken again.
Yeah.
I did not know that Carrie had never seen I didn't know that Carrie has not seen the crime scene photos.
Right.
Um, so I just, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I mean,
I met
um,
her. I met her daughter as well.
did
Her
you meet one of her
her
daughters?
yeah her one of her daughters.
Yeah.
'Cause she's Kelsey, and then she has 2 younger daughters. With not the same father. But
Yeah.
and this and she was an awesome. I mean, she's like, I guess 18, so she's an adult, I guess. But she was an awesome kid, incredibly intelligent, smart, beautiful, funny. So I was really impressed with Carrie and her daughter.
Yeah.
I didn't really talk to Kelsey. I wasn't gonna bother her, and we haven't really talked in the past, so I wasn't gonna like go up and bother her.
Yeah.
But it was sad to watch her see some of this stuff as well, as it
Did
is with Tara and all of
yeah,
the family.
did Jenica go?
Not to the no. I saw Jenica
Yeah,
twice,
but
but
she didn't.
but no, she didn't go.
Oh, okay. Where was Deb sitting?
Deb was not there. I think
Yeah.
Deb had. I don't know if Deb had stuff going on this week or what.
I was,
I
yeah, I
would
was
have
wondering,
loved it if Deb had been there though.
yeah, Deb, what the heck? Yeah,
She's probably got warrants in Carroll County. We know she can't go to Carroll
she
County.
probably does, right? Yeah,
I'm tired of everyone saying Deb's so sweet. Deb's so nice.
I
I'm
know.
like, so I've just started telling people that when I met Deb, she stole my wallet.
Deb's always packing a pistol.
I'm
Gotta watch out
kidding.
for those quiet ones. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
hey, half of most of the people in Carroll County probably were.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to
I
Charmaine. She
met.
was. Go ahead.
Oh no, I would say, yeah. I mean, I did not expect. I don't know why. I mean, I guess it made sense that she was there, but
1 sec.
I kind of fangirled a little bit when I saw Susan Hendricks.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Tell me,
and
tell me
she
about
was
that.
there. She was right there when because when I got there that first morning, it was Sarah Osbrook. I think she runs a Facebook group, so I don't think
Oh,
I'm
hold
doxing
on.
anyone.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, okay. I'll keep my mouth shut about her because I don't like her whatsoever.
She was
Okay.
very, very nice, Sonny.
Was she? Well, you know what?
Very nice.
It's for the fact that, and I'll say this again because I'll never forget it. What a bunch of vicious bitches from that Facebook group. And so I was being
Well,
attacked by those little monsters in there. And then she ended up saying, like, she ended up giving me shit. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So I told her to go fuck herself, basically. And so, but okay.
she was very nice, Sonny.
Well, you know what?
And how
She
long
was.
ago was that?
Maybe she is, but I'll tell you, I didn't see that side of her because I was too busy being pissed off about getting attacked by these fucking little wolves in that toxic ass group.
Yeah.
And so, but anyways, but
Uh,
the funny thing was though about it all was that I was talking to her sister, which is what's his name again? Freaking Judge, whatever dickhead's name is there. What's his name?
Faust.
Yeah, Fouts, yeah, Judge Fouts. So she was like the mistress, not where Tiara was the lady of the night. She was the mistress. So it was kind of one of those things. Is like here I'm talking what I figured to the nicer sister, and we had a good rapport. But it was only so that's why I hate her so much. Because
No, I think if she gave you a chance and you gave her a chance, you'd get along.
she
Because
probably is nicer.
she's really cool. She's very nice. She's very yeah. I thought she was awesome, and very knowledgeable. And she knows. I mean, she's been around, so she knows the families very well, and she has a lot of connections in the area. And I found her to be incredible. I thought she was incredibly cool.
Yeah, she might be just
But when
I didn't see the nice side of her.
Well, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't care. I hold grudges. They hold grudges.
When when she was there when I walked up, she was Frank was first in line with rescue.
Oh, Frank.
So
Yeah, Frank.
so I got to meet Frank and rescue, who by the way is beautiful and this is so sweet.
Who? Susan?
Not Frank. No, I'm talking about Kit. I'm talking about rescue.
Oh, okay.
No, Frank's exactly
Frank.
like
Frank, you're
Frank's
so
exactly like you think he like. He's exactly in person how he is on YouTube or wherever.
Yeah.
He's taller than I thought, but he's Frank. And then it was Murder Sheet were there, and and then next to them was Susan Hendricks. So when I walked up, I was like, is that Susan Hendricks?
Yeah.
And I'd walked up, and when I walked up, I was with Hannah Shakespeare, and so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fangirl because I'm like, that's Susan Hendricks, and she was talking to Anya, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna say hello to her because I was like, she I was like, I'm too much of a dork to say hello. So it took me like half of the first day before I finally. It took me like an hour and a half before I finally introduced myself. But Susan Hendrick is she is so kind and so sweet, and so beautiful and smart.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell that you can tell that she is very genuine and sincere. Like, it's not it's not a job for her to care about this case and these girls and these family members. So, like, there's legitimacy to that their relationships, and she's in it for the right reasons,
Yes.
and she's
Yeah.
incredibly poised and put together. Like,
Yeah.
I was very impressed with her, and now she has my number.
Does she?
She does.
Yeah, I was watching her on Court TV, and then she was on Nancy Grace as well. And yeah, she's a very beautiful spirit, that one, you know.
Yeah, on the inside and out.
Yeah, yeah,
And like I said, I was really impressed with her compassion and her authenticity. Because I mean, someone that is just like Hannah Shakespeare, someone that's like a Hollywood producer, or someone that's been on CNN as an anchor, could easily be like, oh my gosh, all these crazy YouTubers are around me, and
yeah.
they're not. I'm not delegitimizing us. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
um,
So
it
I
was.
told you, Aspen, go ahead.
Yeah, there was one part where there were someone was talking about some drama on YouTube or whatever from a different hearing, and some of the fallout from it or whatever, and it was so funny to like watch Susan Hendricks be told like the story, and just to like see her like kind of reaction of like what really, oh, and then that happened, like like, and it's just like the kind of surprise of like, and these are adults, like.
Yeah, yeah. So wait, I
And then
told
like
you.
Jinx and her, like and Jinx like with her bananas and just different little like things that you're like, well, this is so
Keep,
strange. Why are you doing this? Like,
keep talking. I'll be right back. Okay. Just keep
um,
talking.
absolutely. And Fig had asked earlier if the prosecution and defense both agreed that Keegan Klein is not involved. They did, yeah. Although Vito did say, he can't say that he knows 100% that Keegan was the one using the Anthony Shots profile on the 13th of February 2017, which I, of course, was like, oh, great. Now the people that still think the Kleins are involved are going to grab onto that, and they're going to use it for the leverage that they want to still think there's a link to the Kleins. But I think both sides have agreed there's not. And the same with Ron Logan. I mean, even when Nick was talking about not wanting the different subjects allowed in, he even put the importance on the Rushville guys and the Odinist as being the ones that he was the most focused on.
I was gonna say, whoops, back. Hey,
Oh, you're fine.
I know I had to go to the washroom real bad, but yeah. So can we let people in chat ask you a few questions?
Yeah, absolutely. I will
And
say
then
really quickly. I thought that Murder Sheet, Kevin and Ani, I know people have very differing opinions about them. They were there every day, first or second in line, or second or third in line. Very professional, very polite. It's funny. They were sitting right behind me to my right shoulder. Was Anya, and then
did
Kevin,
Jinx
of course, was next to her.
did Jinx give him a banana?
I don't know if she did or not. You'd have to ask her.
Apparently she was handing out
Oh,
bananas.
and Jinx, I will say banana for you anytime you want.
Banana split. Banana.
CJK, I did not wear my banana shoes, but I did the first day I actually had banana socks on, just coincidentally, because they were a pair of Andy Warhol ones I had.
Yeah.
Bogey, I know. I'm not really looking at chat. I just see what's at the bottom. So, Bogey, you move two girls at a time, but you move two girls one at a time.
Okay.
I will say the expert said that Libby was moved, but that Abby was not moved. That she was repositioned.
Okay.
And I think that's just because of the concentration of where. I know that the DNA report. I can't remember the percentage amount that he said, but it was something like 90% or 95%, 98, something incredibly high number of the blood found at the crime scene belonged to one of the victims.
Yeah, Libby.
Yeah, and the blood that and so Abby's blood was very contained to one specific area, and it was mainly underneath her. And there was a small pool to the right side of her.
Woo, big semi going by. Or car, fast car. Aspen, did you say hello to Courtney Parsons? Who's that?
Courtney. Yes, I did. Yeah, I did. I saw her the first morning, and I said hello. She was sitting down. She was sitting down, I think, waiting for someone or something. And I'd recognized her from YouTube. So yeah, of course, I walked up and said hello.
Okay.
I think I said hello to everyone that like I said, Bob Mata, I did not get a chance to say hello to the first day, but I said hello to him the second day, and someone told me Randy Gravitt was there one morning, but I didn't see him, so I guess I missed him somehow.
Okay.
There was one morning I overslept, and I didn't get to the line until like 7:30, so he might have come earlier. I'm not sure.
Yeah. The crime jester keeps laughing every time you say Bob Mott. Camaro Lover 73 says, "Can you give details on what they think happened during the murders? Like, was there anything where you?" Go ahead.
The testimony that was given by that expert only gave testimony as to what about the crime could be told from the blood. So I mean, like he said things like that he things that Libby probably died sitting up or had been sitting up at one point. But as to why or how, you don't know. Like we know by the blood that she was at various places around the crime scene. So we know she was moved, she was dragged. We know that she touched her injuries, but we don't necessarily know the series of events or why, what was happening in the moment. Just
Right.
the result of them.
Well,
We don't. There was nothing about them crossing the creek or like the clothing being wet. We don't. It was just all about what we could tell by the blood.
Well, so 82%, 83% say that he's going down, Richard Allen. I concur with that. 83. I probably
Yeah.
Because you said something to me like guilty as, but anyways, guilty as fuck. Do you figure? Yes.
If he's not, I mean,
he's not innocent.
If he's not guilty, then I don't see how he beats this at this point.
He ain't beating it.
I've never thought there would be a plea deal, and I still am not gonna say there will be, because I think that Kathy Allen and Janice genuinely believe he did not do this, even though he's told them multiple times he did.
Well,
and I believe that Andrew Baldwin and Rosie either genuinely believe it or are very convincing that I think that there's a lot of people around Richard Allen convincing him he has a chance to beat this, and he can beat this, and that he's going to beat it, and that he's going to be home by Christmas. And
Rosie and
is that
Baldwin,
enough?
stupid.
Is that enough to keep him from taking a plea, or is there going to come a point where he like looks at all of this and he's like 700 up to potentially 750 hours of phone calls to go through that Harshman's reviewed. The guy confessed while he was going to get a haircut. And then to cut off communication with your family because they won't listen to you when you tell them you killed these girls, and that you have to find God because you're not going to get to spend the rest. I think the words that he used were, I'm not going to get to spend the rest of this lifetime with my family. So at least if I go to heaven, I can spend the next one with them.
You know what? That's
And there are people that hear that and think that's like that take that as like some grand, incredible thing to say. And I'm like, you're talking about finding God because you killed 2 children.
Yeah.
And making it about yourself again. And then to give your Bible to their families.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they don't want it.
Yeah. This is where let me say this though. This is where these little fuckers piss me off, is that all of a sudden, they do a crime. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, if I want to go to heaven and not hell, then I have to all of a sudden believe in God and, type of thing. And then Kathy and his mom are like, no, like, you didn't do it. This is them putting this brainwash on you about that stuff and all this God stuff and whatever.
Well, yeah.
That's what Susan Hendricks was basically saying about that.
Well, and to the point where because they know these calls were recorded. It tells you at the beginning of each phone call, the call is being recorded.
Yeah.
So anything said on this, because Rosie at one point talked about, was trying to talk about Rochelle's privacy. And I'm like, you're making these on lines of communication that clearly state they're being monitored and recorded. Yeah. And I'm not putting that blame on Kathy and Janice. They were both very polite. And they were sitting, and like I said, I was sitting 2 seats away from them. And so every time I would get up or come back to the, typically they were already there and they were on the end. So I would have to, say excuse me and come by them. But I said hello to them, and they were very cordial and nice all 3 days. I don't think there's anything wrong with loving your partner and family member, even if they've done something horrible.
No.
And if Richard Allen really didn't do it, then I said I don't know.
He did it.
Who did it?
He did it.
But the percentage of question left in my head is definitely diminishing.
Yeah, I just want to know.
I want to see everything with my own eyes still, and I want to know the motive, which is apparently in the confessions.
Right, exactly. Right, that's what Susan Hendricks was saying, that the motives are in the confessions. And honestly, we all want to fucking know what happened to Abby and Libby. Like, we all do. Why did he do it? I honestly believe, as time has gone on, and, obviously, and I hope other people take a lot of shit away from this too, because, I'll never forget following this case, how there was all these POIs, and I'm sitting here convicting Keegan Dunker like he's my POI, and then you realize just how detrimental accusing fucking someone can be, let alone all the other freaking 91. So I learned my lesson from that, which reminds me, I need to go through my videos and take those ones down. Go ahead.
I just the other day, it's really funny. It's insane to think now, like how normal that was at a time for people to be, coming up with POIs. And some people are still doing it. They're the investigators that believe that the Odinist did it. They testified that there's they've seen no connection to the crime or Delphi in their investigation. So they've had to concede that those things, they've not been able to find them. If they think they exist though. So, but now the defense has publicly named these people who might not be great guys. I'm not saying they're good guys,
Right.
but
Yeah.
but like everyone now that follows this case is forever gonna know where Brad Holder was at work and then went to the gym. And I think
Exactly.
someone just recently there was
Right stuff.
people were trying to figure out like the names of like this father and son that were in a phone ping or something, and I saw someone on Twitter, they doxed someone, and not only did they dox someone, they doxed the wrong person.
1 sec. Okay, Miss Dog Lover's almost at 2 years.
Oh,
Freaking
but I was
at
like,
it.
well, how dumb do you have to be? Like, first of all, you are doxing someone, and then you're gonna dox the wrong person.
Yeah. So
It's it's sad.
I know. I totally forgot my point, though. I did have a point of something. I can't remember now. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Oh, no, I don't know. Someone said, I mean, I think this is kind of a self answer already. That yes, Michelle, Kathy, and the mom believe he's innocent.
Right.
Yeah.
And they have every right to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's their son and husband. They have every right to support him and believe he's innocent. And even if they believe he's guilty, they have every right to support him still and love him.
I was gonna say, it was so funny because I was actually thinking about that this morning, Adam. I was thinking about Kathy and Richard Allen, and I was thinking, like you have to spend a mile in somebody's shoes when you're married to someone for a long time and you're with someone for years, and it like to literally believe like that's like someone making me believe that my husband's a killer. Even if they threw all this shit in there, chances are I'd be saying like, no, you didn't do it.
Right.
No way. There's no way. So I totally support Kathy Allen if she feels like her husband's innocent. You don't like you can't just like what's her name, the Hewerman wife there, uh, whatever her name is. But anyway, what's her name? I always forget. Anyways, it's
Asha, or
yeah, as
Asha.
a, yeah. Anyways, but it's one of those things. At, at the end of the day, you can't just make someone flip a switch and decide that they have to believe all that because it's harder to remove yourself when you're right there married to a guy for this long and you know so if she feels like he's innocent and that somehow they're just trying to pin it on him and like I'm pretty sure like you know she's for any other scenario
Oh, I'm
besides the
sure.
fact that her husband did it.
And
That's
that
it.
and that doesn't mean that and that doesn't mean that she can't be sorry that this happened to the girl. I mean, I I don't think, from what I've experienced, I don't think that I've not seen either of the victims' families um show any sort of any
Mhm.
what's the word, signs of anything towards Kathy and Janice. I think they
Right.
understand that this isn't something they chose either.
Yeah.
um and I'm sure that Janice and Kathy probably feel like they're in a hard position too, because they can be sad that this horrible thing happened, but they still don't want their husband and son to be the one that did it. I mean,
Yeah.
now if he did, then he deserves to pay the punishment for it, and they should let that, they should understand that, that. But so should Richard Allen. There were some interesting parts about, like I found it really interesting because I've always thought that control had to be a big part of this case, and I'm speculating when I say this 100%. But when I look at Richard Allen and I look at, I mean, I'm not qualified to have his opinion, but I do. you know, I can see where I feel like he probably could feel small in his life a lot of times. You know, we've heard about his wife being so outgoing and friendly, you know, and um, so I'm not surprised at all to think that control was a big element in the crime. So when I heard the part about him not eating and how, you know, he would skip meals, but he would never skip 4 in a row because then you get put on. They start watching you. And that he started to use that type of stuff in Dr. Walla's words as a way to, well, he said it was a way for him to control his circumstances, is what he told her. And I found that really interesting, looking at the psychology of someone that, you know, if they are in a position where they have no control, gaining that little tiny bit of control as far as, you know, refusing to eat can become a sign that they have some control. Another thing I thought was interesting was oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I would say your thing, and then Ben says, Aspen, is it true that Nick said down the hill on day 1 and Ellen reacted all? So first finish off what you were going to say, if you want.
Well, now I'll answer. Alan interacted almost throughout the entire hearing, all 3 days. I mean, when there was something he disagreed with, he would shake his head, but, you know, no. When he and I don't know if it was intentional or involuntary.
Right.
There were times he definitely was aloof and looking around and doing all of the stuff that people have said. Like, he looked up at the ceiling a lot, but by the end of the 3 days, I was doing it too. And there were definitely
Hi, Ivy.
you know, there were definitely some exchanges between him and Kathy as far as like where he would like turn. The first day I kind of felt like there was some like hesitation towards like the, you know, like I felt like the look he gave her wasn't like I felt like it was kind of like a shrug almost. But someone else interpreted it completely different, so I don't know.
Well, but
I did see him smile at her and smirk a few times, but in specific to that question, when he said down the hill, he did react. I just don't remember what he did, so I have it written down somewhere, because that was also a balancing thing too, is looking down and writing notes, or actually looking up and missing the stuff like that is happening when, you know, like he would be nodding yes or no, or, you know, someone was having a visible reaction to something.
Yeah, you know, I find it always interesting.
But he agreed and disagreed several times throughout every day.
Well, I was going to say, I always find it very interesting watching trials when you're watching the person, and some people you can tell that they'll make these motions like that's not fucking true, you know, and some people just sit there with a blank face, you know, on their stuff. So that's very interesting that you're saying that he was very reactional to certain things.
Very.
Yeah.
And there were times when he wasn't like at all like when they were talking about like when the blood expert was on the stand. I mean, Alan was very intent, and he was watching everything. He would watch the attorneys, like, you know, when someone was up talking, his eyes were on them. But he, you know, like, I didn't see him like, you know, shake his head no or yes to a lot of that stuff. But there were times he even, I think, involuntarily would kind of nod his head yes or no to things. Like, I can't remember if down the hill was one of them, but
yeah, like I know I could never sit there and keep like I would be a very reactional person, you know, because that's just my personality. So if I heard something that I was like bullshit, I'd be sitting there going, you know I would be just unintentionally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Ivy's in the house now. She's like, "Oh, you guys are on."
And I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm on my phone too, so like the chat is like I can literally see like one thing at a time.
Yeah, and Lacey quite a bit earlier. Lacey's like, yeah, it's great hearing your voice, but I want to see your face. But um, Aspen, he's been driving. I'm sure he's tired. He doesn't want to put himself on camera, Lacey. But she's been like, I don't know, having drooling issues and missing
Oh,
you issues and shit like
I
that.
missed Lacey. I miss Sunny too, though.
Yeah, I know. It's nice. I know. I mean, thank you for, by the way, for doing this because I thought you were leaving tomorrow. I didn't realize you were leaving today until you had said it that you were, you know.
I kind of wish I had stayed till tomorrow just because it was so because I didn't really. I mean, I didn't have time to do anything. I mean, I had planned on doing lives, and by the time I would get out of court
I
and
was
eat dinner, I
wondering
was
about
like, it was
that.
so. I mean, it was so. They were such long days. Kudos to the people that went and still then went and did lives and went on court TV. And
Yeah.
I know I was talking to Susan Hendricks one morning, was doing one outside on the other, and she didn't get in one morning to court because she was 10 minutes late and they wouldn't let her in. She had been
Who?
on court TV. Susan Hendricks. She had
Oh,
yeah. I
one second.
I
Thank.
felt really bad for her though.
Oh, so they wouldn't let her in till like after lunch or something?
Yeah, she had to wait till lunch, and I felt bad because I mean I know because she sat with Becky and Mike, so I mean because they're good friends
I he got
and you know she literally was just I guess you know has finished a court TV thing and had run over, but so they wouldn't let her in. So um, and I
that.
heard I think it was I don't know if it was Frank or someone else didn't get back in one day that went outside and then they wouldn't let him back in till after lunch. Um, but I thought the staff I thought was all very friendly.
Yeah. 1 second, Aspen. Congratulations, Ivy. You got that membership from Gail. So she comes in and strolls in and gets a membership. Um, Deluxe basically was asking about declines, right? But you'd already kind of said that there's nothing that's really connecting him to Delphi for the
No,
most.
both. I mean, both sides have said. I mean, have said there. You know, there's that they didn't find a connection. Now, I mean, that doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that Keegan Klein he's a monster. He's exactly where he deserves to be. And you know, David Vito testified to the fact that you know he you know that they believed you know they looked into Tony Klein. And that you know he can't say that he did or did not you know do some you know horrible things.
Mhm.
So I'm in no way going to sit here and be like, oh, Tony Klein's a good person at all. By the sounds of of what he's done in his life, he's a piece of shit.
Right.
It's just, I mean, I think that the prosecution and defense kind of agrees with anyone that's ever with Keegan Klein. He lies about everything. So
Right.
believing one thing he says, or you know, means you have to believe either everything or nothing because you can never tell what's true and what isn't. I mean, the fact that he, you know, basically just to get a field trip, had them take him out to the cemetery so he could show them where his dad came out at, with the red Jeep thing. He just wanted to get out of jail for a little bit.
I know. Yeah.
And like
Right.
when they talked about the Wabash River search, and you know, and Vito said, you know, he's like, yeah, we found a lot of cell phones, we found a lot of knives, but none of
Yeah.
them had anything to do with him.
Right. That makes sense. You just wanted to get out for a little bit.
So,
Oh,
but then again, I'm like, why are so many cell phones ending up in rivers?
I know. You know, I know. That's just it. And knives,
And,
right?
but I do get but I do get what that person's saying. I mean, some people believe there are no coincidences in true crime, but you know, what are the coincidences that you know someone's being catfished and that that there's communication with him on the day of their they go missing, but
Along
yet
with the other stuff.
but yet they're not the ones involved.
Right.
So I mean,
Including changing his Facebook date on there.
right.
Make it seem like he was.
And then giving statements that implicate his involvement in his father's,
Yeah.
just to f with the police, which is why I think he's exactly where he deserves to be.
Yeah. I mean, personally for me, I feel like Richard Allen is going to get his ass handed to him, exactly get what he deserves. I strongly feel that Richard Allen did do it. I don't like, what, like that's just my allegedly whatever speaking thoughts on it, but I like the whole Odinist shit that came out and stuff like that, right from the start, I thought it was a big effing joke. But anyways, I mean, I can see where some, like I can see where some validity was there to look at it for sure, right?
And,
But
right.
yeah,
One thing I think is interesting with the Odinist stuff, I will say, listening to Kevin Murphy on the stand, who is one of the investigators that it was him, was it Ferenczi and was it him, Ferenczi and Click? Kevin Murphy he broke down and cried on the stand.
you did.
Like Kevin Murphy,
Oh,
he very, very visibly was, he was reacting to the things being said. I mean, so even though there's no proof or evidence that actually show Elvis Fields' involvement or connection or
all right.
even anything beyond his statements that can't even be corroborated with evidence. I mean, he's like, "This is it," and he started crying. I mean, to me that shows the mindset of this person, and that they feel like they were onto something, and then I think that they feel like they didn't get the validation that they feel they were that they deserved.
Like, is that why? Like, Deb says, what did Murphy break down about? Was it what you're just saying there?
He just doesn't get it. He just doesn't. He's like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. He's like, it had to be him. Like, it seemed like someone that,
Like, it has to be Elvis.
like, you're trying to make it fit so bad, but you're
All right.
but you're under oath and you have to say, well, yeah, no, there is no connection that I found evidentiary wise. There's the potential of, or the idea of, or the speculation of, or someone said this,
Yeah.
but none of it can be backed up with anything. And
Right.
that's the fact, and that's the case with all of these guys. None of them could be placed in Delphi that day, and none of them could be placed anywhere at that crime scene, or to have any connection to it. Not evidentiary wise.
Right.
But I think they should allow the third party in, because if they don't, I think people are going to forever claim that was
Unfair.
the reason that Richard Allen got convicted, and they'll ignore all of the evidence against him.
Yeah.
And so I think that they should let it in and let them argue it and let the jury decide.
Honestly, whoops, I'm on board. 1 second. I believe that.
You believe that what?
I think that they should as well let them play out that whole ridiculous theory.
Just don't let Rosie go on for 4 days about Brad Holder's Facebook. Because if I have to hear about Brad Holder's Facebook account one more time, I mean,
right?
And I'm not joking when I say every time they talked about these guys, it all went back to, here's the face. Here, I'd like to present into evidence Defense Exhibit 79. This is an image from Brad Holder's Facebook page. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Like, and then Nick, would say something like, I don't think that sometimes the defense understands that evidence being evidence doesn't mean it's exculpatory, like, just like, so I mean, like, just because someone puts pictures up of runes
Whoops.
doesn't mean that if you can't connect that person to actually committing the crime, then all they've done is, shown a picture on their Facebook page from 2012. First of all, a lot of people don't seem to remember that. Like the mimicked crime scene photo was
Right.
from 5 years before the crime. And Brad Holder claims that didn't even come from his Facebook page or posted it. So I don't know, but I think they should let it in. I just don't want to hear any more about Brad Holder's Facebook page.
Yeah, I get it. And the reason why someone like Rosie does that, I'll speak for myself, but I'll say it. Sometimes when I feel like people aren't getting the point, you want to spin circles and say it in 10 different ways. In Rosie's case, obviously 100 different ways, because you want it to stick. Like, let me keep showing you the same shit because
Right.
I want you all to understand what I'm putting down for you, type of thing. And then, I mean, I've been accused of talking in circles myself because it's like I look at somebody's reaction, and if they give me that vibe that they're not quite understanding it, well, I'll tell you it again and again in different ways until you agree with me.
Right. And like I will say, in I think like in Kevin Murphy and Clicks, I think they believe. I mean, Click said he doesn't. Click said, I don't know. Like this, like I don't know if they're involved, but this is what I felt like it needed to be investigated more.
Right.
I find it, which when you look at the dates of when those guys were kind of churning in some of that stuff, I mean, it's not my place to say yes, that should have been looked into more, or shouldn't have. I think everything should be looked into that warrants being looked into. But I mean, at the time, it was what 6 days before before the FBI raided Keegan Klein's house, and then right before Ron Logan. So I mean, they were up to their eyeballs in theories even already with suspects. And
Yeah.
I think they might have looked into it, found there was no connection, and moved on. So these guys might be wrong, but it doesn't mean they don't believe it.
Yeah. My thing is this, and this goes with any case, personally. Like some of the times these creators and shit, they get so wrapped up in their own shit. Kind of like I did really actually, on my POI. But you get wrapped up. But the thing is, the difference with me and some other creators, I'm willing to always move to whatever the evidence proves. Right. And that's
Like,
different. Right. Go ahead.
No, I mean I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, it's just that
I don't think there's anything wrong with having a POI. I never before there was an arrest, made up, publicly gave a POI, because I never really fully had one. I mean, I looked into Garrett Kurtz, I looked into Ron Logan, I looked into
my God,
Klein and Tony Klein and some of their, their connections, but
right.
But
And
just like I have Rich instance at Rich Unger, I said I've looked. Of course, I know everything in the world about Rich and his connections.
Well, that's the crazy. Okay, this is the crazy shit about this case, right? Is that so first of all, like when it comes to Keegan Klein, right? The chances that he wasn't part of it somehow were just astronomically low. When someone like what's his face, God, um, oh, the one that told me that Jason and his brothers and whatever, Mark and whatever, had that Sheena had said that she was there when it was done to those two girls. Like,
Right, and Ashley Garth had a video,
and Garrett Kurtz
seen the
working on
video.
the land and all that shit, and you're just like going, like, how? Like,
because
and then
because they
also,
were druggies
yeah,
that lied and made up stuff when they were high.
I know that. But, the thing is, you have Tiara, who was freaking loaded and talking about faults, and yet what she was saying was true. But
No,
so it's kind of, eh?
I think Tiara's incredibly smart.
She's incredibly smart.
Yeah,
And,
I saw Judge
well,
Fouts, by the way.
pardon?
I saw him, by the way.
Fouts?
Yep. It took me a minute too. Like at first I thought he was a news guy, and then I was like, oh, that's Judge Fouts, or well,
Where,
I'm Attorney Fouts now, I
where was
guess.
he?
What? Outside the courthouse.
Yeah. I was gonna say, oh, he was outside the courthouse. I mean, did you say, hey douche? Did you
I
turn around?
I did not speak to him. No, I did not. But
Yeah.
I did see sorry, it's a left turn, but I I saw Shane Evans is surprisingly he dresses really well, and he's a better looking guy in person than
Mhm.
I thought. Like
Oh,
I
it
don't know
was.
what I expected, but I was like, but he's a sharp dresser, and he's a good looking guy. I won't say he's like like he's a good looking guy.
Mhm.
So when you walked by, I congratulated him on the election, even though he.
Yeah, Shayna. I mean, God. I mean, who hasn't been around the ringer with this case? To be honest with you, pretty much everybody in Delphi. I think. Like like this case to me will go down in history as one of the most fucked up fucking
Wow.
every time that it can get a twist and a turn, this case. Like honestly,
Yeah.
this
Well, hey, you
case,
never know. It might not be done yet.
I know it's so absurd, and kind of before my point was, yeah, like so these police officers that were investigating, Elvis and stuff like that. But like I said, again, if the facts aren't there to support it, you need to look, come out of your own ass and look
Right.
at the different other, you know,
And these
possible.
investigators weren't on the case for it's not like they worked on the case for 7 years. They were
Right.
on this case for a very limited amount of time. And they didn't know, like anyone that's in law enforcement will tell you, unless you're in the unified command or whatever they call it, whatever
Yeah.
their
I think
or a
unified
task
command.
force
Yeah.
or whatever a task force is, you know, you're not given every piece of information. You might be told like what line of questioning to go down or what line of investigation to look at. But that doesn't mean there's not 6 other investigations happening, at the same time, which there were in Delphi. Like,
Mm.
at the same time we had the search at the Bicycle Bridge Road house, they were already looking, at talking to Brad Holder. I mean, that was
Mm.
one day later they talked to Brad Holder. Because his son allegedly was dating one of the girls that died.
Right. Heavy.
So that's a natural, that's a natural progression of where you would look at. If anyone that's close to they always start with the families because they're the closest to the victims, and they work their way out.
Oh,
Um,
keep it respectful in here. Thanks, Ben.
oh, what happened?
I don't know. I just saw
If it
Ben
was,
say something. If Ben
if
says
it,
something, then that means that Ben's in the right.
well, if it was negative about me, I probably deserved it.
Probably.
Miss Bojangles. Oh, look, there's the unhinged. Miss Bojangles. Yes, I saw Liggett every day, and
Like
I
it.
saw
Yeah.
Tobin. I saw Tobin in person. Yeah, I mean they were. I mean they were all. They were all there every day. Tobe only came in the courtroom, I think the last day, and he stood in the back for a little bit, but he was in the rotunda all 3 days. Mullins was there. Holman testified all 3 days, so he was there for sure. And I heard some people were making fun of him, which I thought was a little disrespectful. You can dislike the guy, but I'm not gonna be sitting in a courtroom calling people a tomato or fat and some of the you know. And I didn't hear anyone say anything bad, so I just
Was Rick Snay? Did you see him and Noah or whatever the fuck his name is? Did you see them sniffing the courtroom outside, going maybe?
No, oh no, I did not. I
Better.
no, I did not. Were they? I don't know if were they. I didn't hear if they were there.
Yeah.
So I didn't hear. I don't think. I mean, they had a pretty tight perimeter around that courthouse.
Yeah. They reap what they sow, the fuckers. They could have been
Yeah.
in there if they can just
I-
act like humans.
No, I will say. Of course, there were people in the
But
courtroom that their stance on the case from just watching their coverage on things. What Fix House is what?
what
Uh,
was two things.
Oh, well,
Matt Hoffman, and then Unhinged is saying was the Hoffman. Who's the Hoffinator?
Matt Hoffman is he's the
Hoffinator?
ex-fired chief. He is the Hoffinator, and apparently a stud. But he used to be the fire chief of Carmel, Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Recently ranked America's #1 best small town. But he was the defense investigator hired by Baldwin and Rosie. So he's kind of been like their the head bitch in charge when it comes to like contacting people, looking, apparently taking in information and allegedly putting some out.
Right. Forgot about that guy.
I don't know. I don't know how being a fire chief qualifies you to be a an investigator for a criminal case, but I mean, I guess kudos to him if he's making $15 an hour. Hope he's earning it.
Yeah, right. Ben, that was so earlier. Adam had said that there was no talk about Richard Allen's phone because it was just about the stuff that they were trying to suppress, but there was nothing about his phone, right?
Yeah, I don't remember here.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it was very long 3 days, but I have a pretty good memory when it comes to stuff like that, and I don't remember anything about Rich Allen's phone.
Did any of this cut into your drinking time?
I see. I mean, I didn't get to really do anything,
No, I
which
know.
was fine. And then I was so kind of like emotionally and physically tired by the end of it. Plus,
Oh my God, yeah.
like if I have to get up early in the morning, I don't sleep well because I'm afraid of not getting up, which I did. I overslept the one morning, but luckily I still made it by like 7:30. So I mean, I didn't sleep great any of the nights I was there.
Who's this Osbert guy too?
The Airbnb was awesome though. It was a beautiful house.
Oh no,
Yeah. Beautiful house.
Yeah. Is the Michael Osbert? Who is that person again? I've heard the name.
He is the habeas corpus attorney that previously worked for IU and was brought on to the defense team back in, was that November or whenever they wrote the original actions for the Supreme Court.
You're talking about
And
those two lawyers?
I'm sorry.
No. Oh no, I was thinking of those two lawyers.
There's Kara Weineke.
Yeah.
Osbrook came in January. I'm sorry. Kara Weineke came in November, but Osbrook is the one that is there to help create a record so that when the time comes, everything has been set up the way that they want it to be to make an appeal go smoother. Which means, even as early as January, I think the defense was kind of angling for the fact that they have a large potential for a conviction here, depending on what a jury decides, of course. But yeah, he was previously a part-time professor at IU, and I believe he's frequents. Like, I from my experience, he's been. He's very conspiratorial. I don't think that's a secret or being mean. He has very wild thoughts that are not in my wheelhouse.
Did they confirm? Fig says, did they confirm the day the crime happened because of the unsmart people questioned the day of the crime? Did they actually kind of confirm that day? In a sense.
Well, I mean, the investigators have all alleged that that the crime happened at the time that between 2:13 and 3:30. I have the I can't remember the exact time span it is written down, but the defense, of course, because there's not a time, allegedly there's no time of death on the autopsy report. Um, I think they're going to claim the date and time can't be trusted. And the blood, all it really told, as far as that is that I think some of it was dry, some of it wasn't. But I don't remember really hearing testimony about
The exact.
about trying to determine by that factor how long it had been there, because I think there are a lot of things that go into play with that. Climate, temperature, all sorts of things.
Unhinged says, does your trip cost you $12K?
Oh, well, I'm not going to Georgia.
Okay.
And I will say that poster board looked very expensive. Like whoever went to Kinko's and got that poster board made, it was a nice $12,000 poster board.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it
I think everyone got a chuckle out of that, even if people that like the defense or don't like the defense. I think everyone kind of got a chuckle out of the ludicrousy of saying driving to Georgia for a 2-day trip cost $12,000.
Oh,
I don't know if I guess Andrew Baldwin and I travel a little bit differently,
right.
and I'm bougie.
I know. Yeah. I'm
Um,
not gonna lie, Adam. When I get those
Yeah.
customer calls in with those bougie guys, fuck me, fucking uppity on it. Like, fuck, I hate those call-ins. To be honest with you, that I get. They'll be like, because they use that word too, and they're like bougie, and I'm like, oh, you're just a fucking self-centered little bitch, aren't you? Oh, wait, I'm talking about Adam now.
oh, I am
like,
not.
no, right. Honestly, when I get those phone calls, I'm just like, ugh. Like listening to them, like you can just tell it. But they usually say, "Well, I know that I'm a bit bougie." You think?
Right. Oh,
But not.
hey, Ashley Schaefer.
What'd you say?
I said hi, Ashley Schaefer. I just, like I said, I wasn't really looking at chat. I just caught that one.
Oh, you know what? I'm so far freaking behind here.
Oh, you're fine. I will say, I do want to say quickly too. One thing that was interesting is the first night when I got there Monday night. I did go out for a drink at the Doghouse Saloon or whatever it's called. Because, well, I mean, it's Delphi. I was like, well, I think I had 2 drinks, but I saw a couple of people that I had met last time I was there, and so the bartender and like a couple of the people were like, "Oh, is there something happening this week?" They had no idea that there were hearings this week. So, following the case lead the way that a lot of us do, it's interesting to see how non-tuned into a lot of it that people that live in the area actually even are.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
And you don't hear about people in Indiana. You don't talking about Delphi the way you do out like people that don't live there. So for like a town like Delphi, like I understand what it like probably is for like all these people coming into town and doing stuff, and I can't imagine what they're going to do for a month during the trial. But I hope that no one was I hope everyone was respectful and handled themselves nicely. And I hope that everyone that lives in Delphi was nice to everyone else too.
Oh, Aspen.
Yeah.
I think this person named Ashley was touching your fucking goats.
I saw my goats today. I saw my goats before. I had to stop by and check on things before I left town.
Yeah,
and I will say my pygmies are doing well and thriving.
Yeah.
I just missed the Appaloozas. I did this morning. I did do something that I wanted to see the private drive. I wanted to go down there to see where the private drive started, which I had not done before. But boy, as soon as you get down there and you literally are kind of like trees and you see the like private property, you're on camera, all the signs posted everywhere. Knowing that's Brad Weber's, I'm like, there's no way in the world I'm touching that property. I'm turning around in Teresa Liebert's driveway and getting out of town.
Who is Ashley Schaffer? Who's Ashley?
Ashley Schaffer is makes great videos. But Ashley Schaffer is a luxury used car dealership in Shelby, I think Shelby in North Carolina, that has affordable prices and great deals, but they don't give discounts.
Like Delphi.
You can get an everyday low price with exquisite customer service, and they look a little bit like Ric Flair.
Okay, so is he new to the Delphi world, or been around for a few months or something?
I think he's finding his voice.
Is he just finding his voice? Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, welcome.
I do want to say one other thing I wanted to say about people that when I know, like I started to say this a minute ago, but that, I know that there are people there that were at the trial or that were at the hearing that are very opposite minded as far as what they think happened in the case, and sometimes even what they believe, how to live their life morally. But I personally did not see any instances of anyone being anything but respectful and polite to each other, and so I thought that was really commendable, and nice to see that there were people that could feel very separately about things and still stand next to each other and speak and be friendly and not get into physical altercations, not take things to a level that are unsafe. Which would never even be a consideration, but sadly it has become one. And I thought it was very refreshing to see the way that at least the interactions I had with people and saw, I thought it was really refreshing to see everyone behave so respectfully towards everyone else.
All right.
And if I miss something, because I'm sure someone will be like, well, no, this person said this, and I'm like, I apologize then, because I didn't see anything like it. But hopefully it can be an example of how people can conduct themselves if and when there's trial or another hearing.
Charming Mountain Deer. Okay, wait. Okay, who the fuck is this person? Ashley, maybe Delphi, or is it just like a comedy type of?
They're really more on like I think they really capture the essence of people, like of individuals. So I think they really focus more on really getting to the truth of of someone's character or or personality, and highlighting things about that person.
Oh, okay. Is there one for Delphi?
In a way that is meant to be loving and comical.
Oh, he's only got 114 subscribers. You guys
I said he's just finding his voice.
Yeah, he's got 52 videos. Yeah. There you go. Here's the link.
I will say I am a proud owner now of a Ashley Schaffer BMW sticker, and I do appreciate it, and thank you very much.
So wait, what's these stickers that you're talking about?
Well, sometimes when you buy a car, it'll have the dealership sticker on the back.
Okay, yeah. I've made some of those with my silhouette machine.
Yeah. You have. I bet you don't have a nice holographic one.
I don't.
It says Ashley Schaffer BMW on it.
Ooh, okay. Anyways,
I got several nice little gifts from people, so that was nice.
Mm-hmm. I loved.
I loved meeting everyone too. Of course, it's it was nice to be able to give Becky a hug and to say hello to her, and but it was really cool to to meet, to see Frank and see, Murder Sheet, and to see Susan Hendricks, and to see, to meet Bob Mata, to, to meet all of these people. And then to have people that, like, I had several people come up and talk to me that I of course didn't know who they were, because I've never seen their faces, that, are like, oh my gosh, I watched you and Sunny, or I watched you and Deb and Sunny.
Wait,
So it
who
was
said
really
that?
cool.
Who said that?
Well, several people.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Like I met Mama, Libra Scales,
Yeah.
who I didn't talk. I didn't get to talk too much, but I met her the first morning I was there.
Yeah.
And then I met several people that like have that are in chats, or at one point used to be in chats, whatever.
Did anyone say, is Sunny the bitch that I think she is? And
I
you're
think
like,
anyone that's
no,
watched knows.
no. They're like,
No.
no, she's really nice. Yeah. You set them
You
straight.
really, you're definitely the nicer of the two, if people really knew. Kidding.
I know. Yeah.
I hope I wasn't an asshole to anyone, because, like,
When aren't
if
you?
I'm tired or hungry or thirsty,
Yeah, little bitch comes
or
out.
bored, or no, I'm just kidding.
Hey, can I play one of these videos, Ashley? Someone's saying play a video or something. Can I play one of these? Yeah.
You want to play the one of me?
Is there one of you?
I think he made one of
we're
me.
here. Oh my god, this one. Oh my god. Wait.
It
doesn't have
as long as
copyrighted music, does it?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't know. It's not my video.
Let's see.
Nominees for Male Model of the Year.
Young, hot, brash, with more covers in his first year than any rookie model ever, and an attitude that says, who cares? It's only fashion.
That Hansel's so hot right now.
I hear a lot of words like beauty and handsomeness.
Yeah, they should
incredible
probably
chisel
see my
features.
face.
To me, that's like a vanity that self-absorption that I try to steer clear.
And you look just like
I dig
that
the
guy
bunch.
too.
I mean, for me, it's just the way I live my life. I grip it and I rip it. I live with a
Wait
lot
till
of
you see
flair.
the other
I live on
person
the
in it.
edge where I gotta be.
Can you do a cool one of
I
me,
wasn't
Ashley?
like every other kid who dreams about being an astronaut. I was always
I'll
more
be
interested
Shania
in,
Twain, okay?
what bark was made out of on a tree. Richard Gere's a real hero of mine. Sting would be another
I think
person
I've
who's a hero.
seen this,
The music
actually.
that he's created over the years, I don't really listen to it, but the fact that he's making it, I respect that. I care desperately about what I do. Do I know what product I'm selling? No. Do I know what I'm doing today? No. But I'm here and I'm going to give it my best
So I
shot.
know what product I'm selling. I should get it bigger.
Over the past decade, male
You know who that
modeling
is?
has had a shadow cast over it by one man and 5 syllables.
No.
Dare.
It's murder. Oh, that's
Modeling to me isn't just about being good looking or
It's
having
Tom.
a lot of
What?
fun.
He made it look like Tom.
Really
Tom.
good looking.
Wait, I think Deb shared this. Somebody shared this.
Modeling was great because it gave people a chance to see a side of my versatility. The original Greek word model means misshapen ball of clay, and I try to think about that every time I get in front of the camera.
3-time male model of the year, Derek Slater.
So,
Yeah.
that's most of it. That's pretty much it.
Oh yeah, share. I'll be share. Do you believe in love?
Ivy said we should nominate Tom as. I will say, Ivy, I have 2 notebooks of notes from the hearings. I took really good notes, down to like timestamps and everything.
Hey, quickly, Adam. I saw that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
I saw that video before because someone put it in our group chat, eh?
Oh, did they?
Deb did, because I remember Deb, and I said, "What program is that dude using?" I thought Deb made it at first, and then
Oh,
she,
I know the program. I have it
what
somewhere.
program is
Like,
it?
I'd have to find. I don't
Oh, okay.
personally have it, but I can let you know what it is somewhere. I just have
Yeah.
to find out what. I have it somewhere.
Anyways,
Um,
funny as shit. Funny as shit. I'll tell you that.
But no, it was But it was really nice to meet like Jinx. It was really cool to meet Rescue. It was really cool to meet Susie. I'm trying to think of all the people I got to meet. Kathy Clendenning. I went to Flora this morning. I didn't go the first time I was there. But I
Yeah.
really wanted, so I went and paid my respect to the Flora girls before I left the area this morning, and then I went by where the house had been. Flora's a cute little town. It's tiny, but like they had a cute little coffee shop and a couple nice little things.
Mhm. I was gonna say the house is gone now. I know.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah,
Yeah.
they've dug up the dirt. They've dug up like the foundation and everything now too. So it's just like a lot of torn up dirt.
Yeah. Jinx and that did a lot of, has done a lot of work on that case
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
And those girls, then that's why I wanted to go pay my respects to them at the cemetery and
What you going on about? Go on.
what
I'm no Bogey says I'm waiting until I have people's attention. What are you waiting for?
what are, hopefully I didn't do anything wrong.
I don't know what she means by that. Focus on Flora. Yeah. Go ahead, Aspen.
No, I was
I know you.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else like right now that I mean I want to drive some more and I've been on for a while, but trying to think if I haven't watched any YouTube this week, so I don't even know what people have really covered from the hearings or really what people have said. I went in a live chat last night for like 10 minutes because I couldn't sleep yet. But I've not watched anyone's coverage that was there. So I don't know if there's anything people have picked up on or, a perspective I might have that's different. I'm not sure. Maybe everything I'm saying is completely different than what other people are. I don't know.
1 second. He's a gorgeous actor. You'll have to go look. Oh. I didn't know. Still know who you're talking about.
One thing I will say about the Carroll County Courthouse is it was definitely I'm assuming when it was built in whatever 1800s it was built that they were not anticipating putting metal detectors in because the men's bathroom is outside security. Like you have to go through the metal detectors every time you go to the bathroom.
Oh, really?
If you're a guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think let's say it again. Aspen, we'll wrap this up right quick here, but what was your biggest takeaway? Say it again. Hi, Laura.
And my biggest takeaway is the same as of being there is the same as it was the first time, and I assume will always be is that that this isn't entertainment. It's that that this happened to these children, and the people that were left behind because of it are now having to deal with all of it, and it's every day of their lives, and that they're able to get up and they're able to find a way to keep on going and go to work and mow their grass and do all of these things, and the town has moved, has had to move on as well, even though they'll never forget what's happened. So the weight of all of that is going to be my biggest takeaway always. But as far as like the case itself, it was a really good experience to like actually get to see and experience the lawyers, and and my perception of them definitely is a little different than it was before. I didn't anticipate finding Andrew Baldwin to be charming and charismatic. I found things about Rosie's presentation that did not impress me. And I'm not saying he did a bad job or anything. I'm just saying I expected him to be the one that seemed charismatic and kind of on top of things, and it was the opposite, in my opinion. And same with Nick. You know, like I thought Nick came across very calm and cool and confident and smart.
Yeah.
Gull, I
Yeah.
thought was. I can't think of a reason anyone would be criticizing Gull right now. I felt like she was very fair and very patient with both sides. I mean, she definitely, you can tell from her personality that you can tell she likes efficiency. But you know, she had no problem sitting there until 9 o'clock that night, even though she had to drive back to Fort Wayne. So
Who had to drive back to Fort Wayne?
well, I mean, that's where Judge Gull lives.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, I mean, other than the morning she was late the first morning, and I don't know why, and I'm not, you know, so I'm not gonna judge her on that. But I mean, she started court on time every morning, on time. She gave, you know, breaks. She gave lunches, you know.
Yeah.
And she kind of, you know, I don't think there was a time she really didn't give. I mean, other than like an overruled or something, I don't think there was a time she really didn't give whatever request the attorneys asked for. So,
Laura says, Aspen, did you stay till 9 p.m. night?
I did. Is that Laura that was there? Because Laura
Yeah.
is awesome. It was so cool to get to meet her. And I got to meet Thomas Frost. I didn't even think, I forgot that I didn't even mention him earlier.
Yeah, I seen. I'm not sure what name he is underneath here.
He's a Fire and Ice.
Oh, that's what I thought. I thought it was Fire and Ice. I wasn't sure.
Talk about a cool guy. Talk about a cool guy.
Yeah.
And like, well, I'm not going to compliment him. That's enough compliments.
That's the drone guy.
No. Thomas Frost is Frosty.
Yes, Frosty, but I thought Frosty did drone.
Those are different people.
Oh, but I thought Frosty did those too.
You're thinking of Indie Archive.
No, I know he does. I thought Frosty did drone as well. Am I wrong, Frosty?
If he does drones, he has not told me about them.
Maybe I'm just, yeah. I thought he did though. Frosty, did you?
He just apparently makes pizza upside down and falls asleep in court.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know Frosty by the name of in Delphi, but I was thinking I had drones in my head for some reason.
I did see a drone outside the courthouse one day, but I think it was probably one of the news agencies.
Yeah.
It was funny to see some of them too, like, you know, like just to see like Russ McQuaid and like
yeah. I gotta put the girls back up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bogey, for your what was it? Handsome. Was it?
Thank you.
Nephew.
Yeah, if anyone does want to contribute to my trip, you can my Cash App and all of my stuff is in my link to my channel.
Yeah, if anyone, no. Hey, those, you know what? Yeah, you guys, I don't know, like, hold on a second here.
I've now spent 16 days in Indiana this summer.
Oh my God, I know. And I know, and the first one was absolutely, you were going down there for the hearings, and then those ended up getting canceled.
It's fine. It is fine.
1 second here. We'll find it here.
I wish I'd gotten to see Deb. I do wish I'd gotten to see Deb this trip. And
how come you didn't see that?
Well, she wasn't. I mean, I didn't have time to go anywhere other than like Delphi because I mean, like we were in court all day every day.
Yeah, but Deb should have been down her butt in Delphi there. Deb.
No, Deb has a full life. Just like, you know, chaotic. I'm, you know, what we can get to see. I talked to Chaotic the other day, and I thought I might be able to see her on the way because I go through Indianapolis on the way there, but she was doing something and the timing just didn't work out. But and I didn't tell anyone I was going either, so that's probably the biggest reason I didn't get to see Deb or anyone.
Are you
like
gonna do? You saw her last time anyway.
Of course, yeah, and she stole my wallet.
Yeah. Kate? Do you plan on going down for the hearing? You guys, send Aspen some money. We want him to go down when it's hearing time. Yeah.
Yeah, Laura said, like, I mean, we were told on Tuesday that Wednesday actually might be a short day, And, so when we were there until 8 o'clock at night, almost, that was like, well, that was not short. That was 11 hours.
Yeah.
And then, so then Thursday, I think we all knew that we had a lot to get through. But when they were listing off the things they were going to be talking about, and like the list just kept going on and on, I think we all realized we were going to be there quite a while. And some people, of course, immediately were like, I heard it's going into Friday. And so, then I'm like, well, it can't go into Friday because I have travel plans.
Ooh, faster.
That was a loud muffler. But I had a feeling that Gull would probably try to stay and knock it out rather than extend it into another day. Plus, I heard that some of the family had a funeral to go to today, so I'm sure they also wanted to accommodate, so the family members could be there.
Yeah.
Because that takes a lot out of them as well. I mean, they have to stop working their jobs and stop doing all of their normal things to be available to sit in the courtroom all day too. And and the witnesses, like Jerry Holman testified all 3 days. Granted, I don't know what he's doing every other day, but
Jerry Holman. Yeah.
yeah.
Only
I will
Holman.
say the only criticism I will give is that if you're going to put an expert witness on the stand, especially about something that is already kind of a contentious issue about its importance, I would be very careful as to the witness that I selected.
Yeah.
Because there was a witness that was supposed to be an expert on something that, when the qualifications were really broken down for, and then you looked at what they were basing their professional opinion on.
Right.
I mean, if you had never heard anything about the Delphi case, and you literally came into the case knowing nothing, and you were handed the Franks memo from the defense that was filed in September of 2023, I don't think you'd even have to be an expert to say you can conclusively say you think there are ties to Odinism involved. But if you're a ritualistic killing expert,
yeah,
who only is going off of information based on something that's written about people that are ritually killing people, and the defense finds you from your appearance on court TV,
yeah,
maybe make sure you've dotted your I's and crossed your T's, because they can be discredited. They were discredited. I mean, kind of just, and she seemed like a lovely person. I don't mean to talk bad about her.
Is that one that
I don't know what an art history major that clearly it develops an interest in race-based and ritualistic killing crimes has to call themselves an expert. You or I can take a 10-hour crime scene course and be certified on something.
Is it that same lady we saw on a freaking channel one time talking about?
No, I don't think so. She seemed familiar to me, but and like I said, she was. I'm sure she's a lovely person. I'm sure she's very good at what she does. If you're being paid to give an opinion about something, at least state facts that aren't going to be, like that, because literally the only thing the prosecution had to ask was, have you ever seen, a race-based ritualistic killing, of 2 white girls by a white supremacy gang?
Yeah.
No, and she, do you see any ties to that in this case? No. And you're basing your opinion of this thing based on the fact that you think these are, and it went on for so long, and they kept trying to make a square fit into a circle hole, and then it was I would have denied the funds for that too.
Uh, so,
So I hope that
uh,
I hope that all of the witnesses are better selected and better prepared.
Bogey wants to know if you'll sit beside her at the trial.
Beside who? Oh, absolutely.
Bogey, or are you gonna go? Maybe you're
Maybe.
thinking about it.
I mean, it's a month long. I mean, and
Yeah, you guys.
of course, ideally, I would love to be there.
Yeah, if you guys want to help him out, come on, you guys. Come on, you. We want to see Aspen Connor there because we're not going to be able to see it on. I know we're not going to be able to see this on TV.
Now I'm sure other people have said this, but I guess maybe I don't think I knew this. When you go in the courtroom, there were like it's a pretty courtroom. It's small, but it's pretty. There were like above the right on the right side of like the wall on the left side, there were like these black trash bags, and then like one or two in the back. So I asked someone during a break, and they were like, "Oh no, those are to cover up. Those are to make sure the cameras aren't on."
Yeah. Thanks, Flora.
It's fully functioning with cameras.
Yeah,
Sonny's
but
not listening to me. This is what happens when Sonny doesn't listen to me.
Well, I'm too busy watching Laura say something. You were right. The expert was on Court TV. Sorry.
But no, so for anyone that didn't know, Carroll County Courtroom already has fully functioning cameras.
Yeah, they do.
They're not just the security ones. They're like they have like
right.
They have like ones to like to live stream a trial with.
Oh wait, no, there ain't no hope in hell I'm going to Delphi. That's out of my budget and pocket. Forget I can't.
Who said that?
Daisy Dukes.
Oh, Daisy, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just saw Steffa in chat. I thought of you when I drove through. I had to just make a small detour and go through Columbus, Ohio. And I thought of Steffa. I don't know where she lives in Ohio, but anytime I'm in Ohio, I think of Steffa and now truckers.
Yeah. No. Aspen is our eyes and ears for Delphi on there. Charmaine was supposed to go with. Whatever happened to Charmaine, by the way?
I think maybe she got the info she wanted. And she probably got the information she wanted and she took off.
She says power went out and my phone died 2 minutes later.
No, Sonny, it only took her that long to remember how much she didn't miss us.
Right. She's probably having sex right now, but she's really Oh my. I know that's a whole different freaking live. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, I mean honestly, like, because this isn't going to be something that we can watch for sure, right? Because she's. I don't
know. I'm not convinced yet, but
you're not convinced yet, no.
I mean, literally, the victims' families. There's 6 rows, I think, in each side. 6 or 7 rows, I think. And the first row is completely blocked off. And so, like when I say the first row, I was technically sitting in the second row because no one was in the first row. I think that's a security thing. And then there's like 6 or 7 rows. But on the prosecution side of the courtroom, I know it's not a wedding, but the prosecution side of the courtroom, the first 4 rows were entirely reserved for the victims' families, and they filled them up. So I mean, there's not a lot of seats in that courtroom. The first row of the table behind the defense, it had, I guess, 5 seats marked reserved, or 6, because then I was in the very first one that wasn't.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, the defense, there was no mention of Richard Allen's daughter, either in any of the communications or anything, actually at all. So I don't think, of course, they need as many reserved seats. But I mean, the victims' families take up half the courtroom almost, of course, which as they should. But anyone that's thinking about going to that trial, there are not many seats,
Mm-hmm.
and there are a lot of media.
Yeah. On there. Yeah, I'll see if I can find it, Laura. Aspen, let's let you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I mean, it's because you got 4 hours of driving still to do. It's
Yeah, I
late.
do.
It's
Yeah,
like
it's 12:30.
9.
I didn't realize it was 12:30, and I've been sitting
Yeah.
here with I've been
I
sitting here with
understand.
my car, the car running and wasting gas. Well, not wasting
Oh,
gas. I'm enjoying this, but
yeah.
every
Well,
every time the car would shut off, the audio would stop. So
yeah.
I figured if you want to hear me, I better do it this way.
Yeah, go drop Aspen some cash, you guys, in his cash app. I don't
No,
normally
I
employ
wasn't saying it. I wasn't saying it for people to
Yeah.
go do that. I was so joking.
Aspen, he doesn't like, just like I don't like fake money, but I don't have no problem saying it for other people. You've been there twice now and stuff like that. It's a lot of money for you to go down there, for sure. But honestly, the trial, that's the cream cheese right there. That's what I would personally love to see, myself. But yeah, and unless it rains buckets of money my way or something like that, ain't gonna happen. Yeah, that's way too much coming.
Oh, did you say buckets?
Yeah, buckets.
Sorry, there was Rosie used an entire analogy one day where he put things in different buckets, and so for hours he was talking about, now you'll put in this bucket, and at one point, Diener on the prosecution's side brought up a counterpoint, and she said, "I guess you would call this a different bucket." And it was I thought it was funny.
Bogey says she has a condo in Indiana. And you're welcome.
Oh, nice.
Hmm.
Oh, nice. Well, my email's at the top of the screen.
Yeah, you can email him, Bogey, at truecrimeaspen@gmail.com. There you go.
And I also know just that some other people that were in town that were staying with people that live locally. I mean, there must be a lot. There are a lot of incredible people out there that will open their home to people, and people that just care. I mean, I thought everyone that I encountered was incredibly respectful and nice. And
Lone Pony says Aspen sent some snack money through your PayPal.
oh, thank you. You do not have to do that though.
Yeah, shut up. Shut up on that end. Thank you, Lone Pony. Thank you. He appreciates it. He just has
Miranda,
a heart.
it's good to see you.
Yeah, $5 buckets.
But Bogey, email me, and we'll talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Please. Yeah, because I can't take your email down right now because I don't have any way to,
Yeah, Deluxe, it's only for the people that actually want to. No one's forcing anyone to. Actually, just hand us over your bank account right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. She says, Bogey's a really great person over here. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I don't remember the dates exactly, but I know Deb put it on her page and everything. I know there is a the Libby and Abby annual golf tournament is, I think, next weekend. So check out True Crime Notebook's YouTube page. I think a couple other people have posted it, but I think you can still sponsor a whole. It's like, I don't know how much they cost or anything, but I think if anyone wants to donate to Libby and Abby, there's definitely still ways they can do that. The ballpark is like, they still need help with the ballpark, and anyone that thinks they're making millions off of it would be incorrect.
I know.
Mike
Laura,
is out there mowing that yard by him. When he's not doing his other jobs.
I think Laura sent you money too, buddy.
Oh, well, thank you, Laura. Diane's out there working those concession stands every day now, almost.
I mean, Unhinged says that you do own half for Delphi. Don't tell people that. Then they won't.
Well, I know, but I'm trying to buy the other half Unhinged.
Right? But
I need to get air conditioning in that courthouse.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for anyone that has sent Aspen some money. again, it's been a very expensive adventure. The 2 times that guy's gone down there, but I would love to see you go down when the actual trial is for sure.
Absolutely.
That's a month long. So,
Here, I'll turn,
Bogey,
I'll turn my camera on to say good night. Oh, you can't see me.
all right.
Ah.
You guys should
You
see
see me?
him. It's a little albino over there. There he is.
Yeah,
Hey, buddy.
I
Yeah,
probably look really tired.
I know. No, you look fine. Yeah. It's like you're dark and mysterious, but I can still see you.
Oof.
Yeah. But anyways, so yeah, I don't. It's okay. Again, all that stuff is just if people want to. If you don't have it, but okay, Sunny. Aspen had some. Okay, so thank you guys, Aspen. Thank you so much, Charmaine. You could have come back on. I know you could have, but she was just like, yeah, I'll pass. Okay.
Aw.
Threesome just went down to a twosome. Anyways, no.
Yeah, I will say if you are going to a hearing or a trial in Carroll County, bring a cushion. Because those seats are not comfortable.
Yeah. Deluxe, send me an email, Deluxe.
And Bogey, email me, please.
Yeah. So Bogey, email Deluxe. You can email me, and tell me about it. Whatever links you have or anything like that. Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna go use the restroom and try not to get kidnapped by a trucker.
Okay. So we gotta say thanks to Gil Hurd. She gave away 3 memberships to people today. So congratulations to that. Miranda's been a member for 8 months. Miss Doglover donated $1.99. Miss Doglover's been a member for 23 months. And Laura was telling me how right I was, and she paid me $4.99 to let me know that I was right. Thank you. Yeah. So I'll try to look for that one, Laura, on there. But anyways, you guys, Adam, thank you so much again. Whoops. I need to go to my live comments again. I get lost and turn around. Yeah, you guys, appreciation to Aspen. It's always nice. Like I just like feel like I'm feeling like I'm there, So
Yeah.
this is the best I can get, eh? It's like you being there and then you get to tell us.
Well, I could have been standing at the courthouse, like, with my doing lives, but
Yeah.
I didn't. So.
Yeah. And thank you guys, everyone in chat, for being respectful. If anyone hasn't hit that like and the share button, please do. If not, that's okay as well. Life still will go on. But anyways,
Right.
prayers for. Go ahead.
I do have 2 full pages. I do have 2 full notebooks full of notes too. So
Yeah.
if anyone has a specific question or they hear anything that they want clarification on, feel free to message me. And because I probably won't post my notes because it's my ramblings. But I mean, I took really good notes. So I mean, if you have any questions or anything you want clarification on, feel free to message me and I'll give you my opinion on it.
Yeah, you're probably I was gonna say, because you're probably not up for a live tomorrow, I'm sure.
It just depends, like what time I get home. And I also timestamp my notes, so that can be, I think, helpful when some people are doing things.
Well, we'll let you know.
Mwah.
Yeah. If
Okay,
not,
I will talk to you later, everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, guys. Right. You guys have a great night. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Take care. Thanks again for everything. And with that being said,
Sunny, I'm gonna go.
Yeah. No, I'm going to. Bye, guys.
Bye. Mwah. Love everyone.